Hi guys, so we're talking about the rest of the topics, but as I said, well, before the video as well, that you can actually create a free account in Verbilla Open Campus, and it's like you can even have a class as a animated person there in that environment. So it's really cool. And okay, so that's just one small tiny intro to Verbilla. It's really cool. You can be actually there, and I could be actually, we can see each other even, well, with your animated self and my animated self. Okay, let's get going, and just whoa, let's mute themselves. Yeah, okay. So, okay, guys, let's minimize this. And what I was talking about is this: how to upload a Hyper-V. Did I say Viper? Right, Hyper-V on premises VM virtual disk from on-prem Hyper-V. Wow, it's repeating, to Azure and attached to Azure VM. So let me talk in English now. What am I talking about? So here, the scenario is that you are in a Toronto branch, suppose, and in Toronto branch you have obviously a virtualization environment, or every data center has a virtualization environment. So if you're having a physical server here with Hyper-V and or ESXi, right? So we're actually sticking to Hyper-V because then the questions will also come. Okay, what about Hyper-V? So yeah, I will tell you that first we need to prove that can we even do that? Can we even do what? So that's first we're talking about. Two, detach and upload a Hyper-V virtual machine virtual disk to Azure VM. So not only that you need to upload it, you need to attach it to an Azure VM. So then I'll explain now what that means. Or, well, it kind of is self-explanatory, but let's talk about it. So you have a virtual machine here, and that virtual machine is inside Hyper-V. So you have a physical server here, IBM, maybe Dell. And then you have a virtual machine here, right? So that virtual machine obviously has a virtual disk, virtual machine, and it has a virtual disk. Now that virtual disk is on top of a physical disk of the physical server, obviously. So this virtual disk here, suppose now this machine may have suppose two virtual disks here, and the second virtual disk has some data that needs to be uploaded to an Azure virtual machine. So suppose this is the virtual disk 2. So this is virtual machine, this is virtual disk 1, and virtual disk 1, and that is the vdisk 2. vdisk 2. So what happens is that you decide that, okay, there's a lot of data here, and we need to detach this disk. And when you create a virtual machine in a Microsoft Hyper-V virtualization solution or hypervisor, so what happens is that it creates a virtual disk file, and that virtual disk file has an extension of .vhdx, right? So from Windows Server 2012 or to 2016 and 2019, it's just the extension is vhdx. So in fact, I'll just say that here in a statement that if we create a VM in Windows 2012, 2016, 2019, then the virtual disk, virtual machine's virtual disk extension is, then the virtual disk extension is .vhdx, and if the VM was created in Windows 2008, now that's old, right? Then the virtual disk extension will be .vhd. Some of you may know that already. And so why am I even mentioning all that? Well, where is it basically used? Where is basically used this in concept? Well, so this scenario is where do you use this scenario? That's what you're saying, right? So obviously, this scenario is first of all how local virtual machines components can attach to Azure VM. And second thing, when it comes to, hey, we want to migrate all the data there, so instead of moving the whole data separately, it's been put inside separately in the folder, organized, and all the permissions have been put in that disk in for that data. Suppose there were thousands of folders there and they were properly organized there. So instead of moving that data and then replacing them again and putting the permissions, why don't you just detach the virtual disk from the virtual machine and simply upload it to Azure and attach it to an Azure VM, right? So so two things are we're gonna check from that can you actually detach and attach a component of a Hyper-V virtual machine to Azure. Second thing is if there is that particular scenario of a virtual disk that is having a huge amount of data, and you just want to detach it from virtual machine and attach it up in the Azure VM. So how do you do that? And okay, and basically the Mohammed says if I already have VMDK disk, can I convert and use it into Hyper-V? Yes, we can convert that VMDK VMware disk to Hyper-V. So there are many converters. There is starwind.com has a converter. Also, Microsoft also has a converter for that. That's a free converter that anyone can access. And Chintan says, can we use this concept for migration of on-prem AD, Active Directory, to Azure AD? No, this is not for that. So you have to, if you're migrating all the Active Directory contents from local domain controller to the Azure domain controller, so simply use the AADC for that. Azure Active Directory Connect, what we did at the start of the course. So AADC will do that. Otherwise, yeah, if you want to go for, I want to transfer this whole virtual machine content up there as is. So yes, we're moving. Either you can actually upload the whole virtual machine, or you can just go for the virtual disk and just take the virtual disk up there. It's just that this is not the way to move Active Directory content. That would be the last choice, and it may not. Most probably it will not work. So AADC is the best way to go for. And Milab says, are other types of disks also supported, like VDI, Oracle, ISOs, etc., other than VMDK, VHDX? So Milab, the main thing is that's why I was writing this, just to type this statement. Azure supports upload of .vhd format disks, virtual disks, right? So this clarifies everything that hey, you have a VMDK, please convert it to VHD. You have any other extension, please convert it to .vhd. So just look for the converters that convert, because Azure just takes this one. Now they were saying that we will support VHDX very soon, but we're gonna know now that do they still support it? Even last year, one student was saying, I saw it in the documentation, they support VHDX now, but when we uploaded it, it said that it does not support. So then we had to convert it back to VHD and upload it there. Okay, and yeah. So Vikas says, as you mentioned, permissions and data, how about the OS and installed apps? So that would be a full virtual machine migration that would be needed if you just want the whole intact virtual machine to be up there. But if you want some of the components or just the data up there, then yes, this is the way. For the virtual machine upload, that's the next lab. Then that how do we transfer the copy of? So one way of migration I'm going to show you now after this, but there are many other ways to migrate as well, and those are much bigger environments. You can We can migrate. All right, guys. So I think we need a 10 minute break now. Uh, and then we're gonna come back and start this. Yeah, what I would want to check is that do they support now VHDX? Although we're gonna simply try to upload and check instead of following the documentation, we can simply try to upload a VHDX and it will just show you right away that oh, it does not support or it supports VHDX, right? So yes, so for that, guys, we need to turn on our local machine, and then I'm going to show you how to install a Hyper-V inside VMware Workstation. That's another, you know. Oh, since we have Windows Server 2016, so we don't have to run some code there, so we're good. So we need to install Hyper-V. But first, I was just telling all the scenario here and taking all the questions as well. And if I just go for, oh yeah, this is the software, guys, Verbilla. So if you click that and you go inside, you can see that you can create a animation of yourself. And this is an open campus. You can have classes here. You can have meetings here. And I don't have shares in this company. Okay. Anyway, so let's. Yeah, there's another question here, guys. Does VMware Workstation allow nested virtualization? Oh yes, it does. We're about to see that now. So yeah, we're gonna do that in Windows. If you were deploying Windows Server 2012, then we had to run a code. But in 2016, it's really very easy. Just go to the processor and just click the Intel VT, enable it, and that's it. As yeah, Mohammed was saying that. So okay, guys. So yeah, as I was saying that. But can you use both at the same time? Well, separately deployed, no. But inside one another, yes. Separately, no. Okay, so inside VMware Workstation, we're gonna deploy now. In the same, in same machine. No, you cannot. Suppose you have VMware Workstation, and then you separately deploy Hyper-V as well. You cannot. But inside VMware Workstation, you can deploy Windows 2016 or 2012, and then deploy inside that operating system. You can deploy Hyper-V. So yeah, we're actually gonna try that. So we're gonna see now. Okay, guys. So there you go. Virtual machine. So we kind of understand the scenario. It's not a very complicated scenario. It's really, in terms of understanding, it's pretty easy. That we're going to detach a virtual disk from a Hyper-V virtual machine. It's going to be an empty virtual machine we're going to create there, and excuse me. Then we're going to convert that disk from VHDX to VHD, and then we're going to upload that disk here in a storage account. We're going to upload that disk in a storage account, and we're going to create also separate VNet for that. Then we're going to create a virtual machine. The only thing to understand, the only thing to make sure that we need to configure is a virtual machine. We create a virtual machine in Azure must have managed disk feature disabled, right? Disabled. So we do not need managed disk, and I may have told that before when we were creating virtual machine that if you manage disk means Azure handles or manages the disks for us while if we want to manage the disks ourselves, then we have to disable this feature called. So when we create virtual machine, we just need to make sure that manage disk feature is disabled, right? And then we can attach our own disk to our virtual machine. So, but this is just about the components that can we actually upload and attach a component of a Microsoft hypervisor or even others if you convert that. But basically, if you can convert any of the virtual disk format to .vhd, yes, you can upload that and attach. That's the main point here, right? So knowing it is one thing and doing it is totally another planet, obviously. So so this is a pretty simple, straightforward scenario here. So what we can do is uh, well, what I can say is let's do it, because nothing, no complication here, right? So the first thing we're gonna try to then create here one by one would be the virtual machine. So we're gonna create a virtual machine, and inside the, well, we have a virtual machine already. There's an OS here, and on top of OS, we're going to add Hyper-V role, and then we're going to create a VM, and then that VM, we will detach its disk, and we will convert its disk. So convert VM disk from .vhdx to .vhd, and then the next step would be upload it to Azure storage account, right? So these are the steps on the on-premises side. Obviously on the Azure side, we need to create the Azure VNet, and then virtual machine inside, and then a storage account that is attached to the VNet as well. So we need to go for all that. Okay, so let's do that too, right? So I'll go for the cloud. This is the cloud, and then we're gonna go for then the VNet and storage account, obviously both attached to the same resource group, and then yeah, okay. So guys, this is the plan. If you don't have a virtual machine right now, we are having a 10-minute break here. So if you don't have a virtual machine, just quickly create one virtual machine with 2016 installed, with or without a domain controller, whichever way. One 2016 inside VMware Workstation. We need that now, right? So power it on and connect it to internet. Okay, so guys, let's take a 10-minute break. There's a question. Sorry, why we are converting VHDX to VHD? Azure does not take both extensions. No, Azure takes only VHD. Azure does not accept VHDX. So extension will be, so if the, well, that's it. Alright guys, so 10-minute break, and then we come back. And if you don't have a virtual machine with 2016 connected to internet, then create one in 10 minutes, and then we're gonna start quick after that. So class start 6:35. So I'll just put that here. Alright, so we were talking about how to upload Hyper-V on-prem VM virtual disk. Well, yeah, to Azure and attach. So let's get it. We'll talk about it first. That what is the first step? We already discussed that. What is the purpose of all that, and also. We're going to understand more when we actually do this. So first is the virtual machine on premises that we can just connect to. And so let's get going. I'm just going to open the VMware workstation, and I'll start the Windows Server 2016 inside. So remember, at the start of the course, we created that machine. So that machine I'm going to start, and then we're going to install Hyper-V inside and create a virtual machine inside that Hyper-V, which is inside the Windows 2016, which is inside VMware Workstation, which is inside Windows 10. Wow. Okay. Nested virtualization, that is. So, I'll quit. Here, I'll start the VMware Workstation, and Right. Now, I have that virtual machine already here. I guess everyone has that virtual machine which we created at the start of the course. So I'll just power on this virtual machine. So first step, power on the virtual machine with Windows Server 2016 inside. Second step is deploy the VMware workstation. Oh man, I powered on already. Okay guys, so maybe it's a mistake, but see this? Right click on the virtual machine, those were following, and go to settings and check the processor settings. Intel VT has to be enabled. So I'm going to right click on settings here of this virtual machine. Then I'm going to go for so then I'm gonna check this processors. Now in the processors, just check your virtualize Intel VT-X/EBT or AMD-V/RVI. So this is to enable virtualization support for any virtual machine. So is it enabled or not? Exactly. You have to shut down the machine to enable it, otherwise you can see that it is grayed out. So this is mucho importante, or muy importante, that you have to enable this. And well, my machine is actually starting, so if I just power off, which is not a very good thing to do, or properly is to shut down guest. So I'll just shut down guest, and I don't know why I'm doing that, although I just showed where to go, but I'm just showing you exactly what to do. Chintan says 4 GB memory. Yes, it's okay. Yeah, it's enough. It's enough. Exactly. And so I have shut down the machine, right? And I'm going to go for edit virtual machine settings here. This one, edit virtual machine settings after shutting down the machine. So where I showed you while the machine was powered on, I'm going to go there now now that the machine is powered off. So after it is powered off, if I go to processor now, you can uncheck this option, right? So just make sure it is checked. Intel VT or virtualization technology. VT is virtualization technology. So this is the only thing that you need to take care of, that it is selected. And once it is selected, press O and K and then power on. So I'm just gonna click power on. After powering it on, so obviously guys, to stay in the field of IT for forever, you make sure that you have a good hardware, and just upgrade your RAM and CPU to 32 GB RAM and i7 quad core CPU, and that's it, and SSD 1 terabyte ideal. And now Black Friday and Boxing Day are coming, so if you see any good deal about 1 terabyte SSD, let me know. And also just try to grab some good hardware, even used hardware. I have used hardware here, W540 laptop. It has 32 GB RAM, i7 quad core, and I got it, well, I can give you the address of the guy who I got it from, if you want. Let me know in WhatsApp where I get mine. But I can create big labs here in this laptop. Okay, well, it is starting first of all. Then I'm just going to log into this, and then I'm going to add Hyper-V. If that option is not selected, obviously you cannot install Hyper-V inside this Windows operating system. All right, so now 1, 2, 3. That's 1, 2, 3. So I have connected. It's just saying get updates. I'll just click the get updates and minimize it, cancel those. So I'm there, and I think it's a domain controller. So yeah, ADDS and DNS is showing to me, so these roles are installed. This is a domain controller, the one that we used at the start of the course. So I'm going to go to, since the server manager is open, right? So I need to add the role called Hyper-V. So Mohammed says bridge. So we need to give internet connection. So it could be NAT, better NAT. If you have not installed DHCP here in this machine, then bridge is also okay. So that's just if we right click here and I go to settings. If DHCP is installed, then do not go for bridge. If DHCP is not installed, then go for bridge or NAT. We just need internet connection. So I'm on NAT and actually I'm on NAT and bridge. Am I kidding me? So I think my NAT was not working. That's why I went to bridge. Otherwise, normally I don't go for bridge, unless it's a specific lab that needs IPs from my DSL router. Then I go for bridge. And there are a few labs that actually ask that. Okay, so yes, I had NAT or bridge, whichever. DC is required or standalone. Yeah, standalone is fine, Chintan. Yeah, so standalone is fine. We just need Hyper-V. And so I'm on dashboard here, and domain controller is not required actually. In fact, in production environments, when you have Hyper-V, it's always a member server. In fact, it's not a member server, it's always a server core plus Hyper-V. They don't say that their server core is installed, but normally it is. When you say that, first of all, you can download a Hyper-V free. That is just Hyper-V, right? So there's no GUI there. It just installs Hyper-V. So, but that is also server core plus Hyper-V basically. So in production environment, you would see that. But any Hyper-V would do in our case. So I'm going to go for add roles and features here. Yeah, core Hyper-V is a pain, you're right. Yeah, we just need to know PowerShell. And I've covered that, excuse me, I've shown those steps in 70-740 free course that I offer in LMS. How to install a Hyper-V in core. So let's click next here. So I just click that add roles and features, right? After that, it's just you select a role. So next, role based or feature based installation, next, and yes, whatever the name of the machine and whatever the IP of the machine, it's okay. Next. So here we have a role called Hyper and V. So I'm just going to select that Hyper-V. It's going to pop up with some features. Just click add features and you're good. So I'm going to select the Hyper-V. It pops up with these features should be installed. Yes, we say go ahead and install these features and click add features. So at this point, you will get an error if you haven't pressed or checked that Intel VT for this virtual machine. Okay, if you have already checked it, then it will go smooth. So I'm going to click next after selecting Hyper-V, and then next, and then next. Okay, here now it says that all the virtual machines inside the Hyper-V, they need to talk to each other and to the outside world, and they want to send data and receive data from internet, to and from internet, right? So this Hyper-V needs to connect to a physical network interface card, network adapter in this machine. So it's going to create a virtual switch manager here, or that virtual switch will connect to a physical network card, and that physical network card can be connected. That physical network card basically in production environment is connected to a physical switch, obviously. So basically you're connecting a Hyper-V virtual switch to a physical NIC. Here obviously it's a nested environment, so it's still connecting to a virtual switch thinking it's a physical switch, which is okay. So I select one network card here, although we're not going to actually use any of the networking here. We're just going to create a virtual machine and detach its disk and simply convert it to VHD and upload it to Azure. So okay, anyway, I click that one adapter or two adapters, whichever. I'm going to click next. So it does say Hyper-V can be configured to send and receive live migrations of virtual machines. So this live migration, I've done that lab for on-premises live migration between two Hyper-V machines in 70-740 course, which is offered free in LMS. So you can, my suggestion, do that. Do all the labs of that 70-740 course. That will be really helpful for you to learn many of the other cloud technologies and have that confidence as well. So anyway, we're not clicking any of this option here, and click next. So it's just creating that folder for the virtual machine and separate folder for the virtual hard disk, which is okay. And click next. So guys, it's going to require a restart, and then it's a two-phase installation. So first phase, and then it restarts, and then it finishes up. As soon as you restart and log in, then it still continues and finishes up the rest of the Hyper-V installation. Okay, Bakas says, can you go back to the previous screen and explain the checkbox for a sec? Checkbox, this one? At the top. So virtual machine is this page you want to need to explain? Migration related. Oh yeah. Yes. So yes, we were talking about this. If you have two virtual machines, and okay, so let me just create that quick diagram here. And you want to, so suppose you have one virtual machine here. That's why I'm also suggesting that we all must do critical VMware VCP-DCV course. We need to know virtualization in depth. But if you have two Hyper-V here, so HV, right, and Hyper-V, this is a hypervisor, right? So hypervisor is separate from an operating system. Its only purpose is to host virtual machines. So HV, these are just Hyper-Vs. And suppose you have a virtual machine inside here, and you want to live migrate. So live migrate is that the end users are connected to that machine, and they say that, oh, this Hyper-V is so slow. So you think that, okay, during the peak hours when end users are connecting and you want to migrate the virtual machine from this LAN, within LAN, from one hypervisor to another Hyper-V to another Hyper-V. So you can actually do a live migrate of this virtual machine, like vMotion for VMware, exactly as Willam said. So it is live migration here is vMotion there in VMware. In fact, last Saturday, we did the lab for vMotion in our VMware class at NetWest College. So, so the thing is that this is a live migration that you can just migrate. So what is this? The two options here, it is just saying that credentials, CRUD SSP is just that if you don't want central authentication and you want to live migrate by sitting in front of it, and Kerberos just means that Active Directory will confirm that do you have the privileges to live migrate virtual machine from one Hyper-V to another. But this whole page is about, and this whole step-by-step configuration is there in 70-740 course, which I am recommending that you must all do that, all the labs of that, because in interview they will ask a lot of on-premises stuff as well, and they are asking, even with cloud job, they do always have on-premises resources, so better cover that 70-740 course at least. So that's pretty much it if there's any question other than that. So do you need to have Hyper-V cluster for this? Hyper-V failover clustering is normally required. Failover clustering just means that a virtual machine, suppose this machine goes down, so it will just simply fail over to the other one without a downtime here. This is live migration. So failing over is that you create a replica of this machine there. For that you need a failover cluster. So, but this I'm talking about is live migration. Suppose live migration is only used when there is a degradation of performance, right? When the machine is performing poor. But if machine crashes, then there is no use of vMotion or live migration, right? vMotion and live migration are just both if machine is up and you want to live migrate away. But the other one is failover where the host actually crashes. So then you need failover clustering on for that. Offline migration is called clone. Offline migration is migration. It's not cloning. Cloning makes a copy of a machine. Migration moves the machine. So this machine is cut and paste from here, as we can say, or moved. But clone means that you create a copy from a template. So cloning is different, migration is different. They are actually complete opposites of each other. Okay, and to use HA feature for cluster, yes, that's high availability feature is because of failover clustering. Again, now I'm saying it for the 5th time. No, I'm not actually marketing my course, but these questions I've seen that students have been asked in the interview as well. That what is failover clustering, right? So failover clustering, FC, and then the Hyper-V and the server core. These questions, because those environments are still on premises, still there. Many students think that, oh, we are going totally towards cloud. We're going, yes, but we're not going now. Right now, there are so many jobs that opened, and they were purely about, can you manage their on-premises infrastructure. Current recent jobs. Last week, I've seen jobs that are somewhat cloud and more on-premises. So if we are thinking that everything's going to cloud now, that's wrong. Yes, we're going, but we're not going now. So it's gonna be 3-4 years, or maybe 5 years till 90% or 80% of everything will be gone to the cloud. But still, they will be on premises, and even at that time. So my suggestion is learn failover clustering feature, and I have done a 4-hour lab on that, where we have at the end we have crashed the machine to check if the failover clustering actually works and there is a zero downtime. So my suggestion is do that 70-740 all labs, because those are tough labs, right? So you must do all the labs of 70-740 in the LMS that I've offered. Okay, so this is all about that. Okay, let's go ahead. Lab says, I think he meant DRS feature in VMware where clustering is used for fault tolerance of host. No, well, this is about Hyper-V. So in Hyper-V, you need failover clustering. DRS, distributed resource scheduler, yes, it's VMware, but that I think this was about Hyper-V question. So if it was VMware, then yeah, I would have talked about VMware. Okay, so let us go ahead. So, okay, we talked about this. Right, so we're not gonna click this option here, anything here, and we're not doing a local live migration here. Okay, so next is just the local paths there, folder structure, and nothing here. So click next, and then we're gonna click the restart button here and press yes. So you need to restart, otherwise the Hyper-V will not be installed fully, right? You have to restart. So it's going to automatically restart, and then it's going to continue with the rest of the Hyper-V installation, which is very small after the restart. So I'm going to click install now after checking the restart button here. All right, guys, and after this, so if we go for the diagram, well, it restarted right away for me. It's not a big installation anyway. So we have a Windows Server 2016 here, and we just installed the Hyper-V role here on top of an operating system, and this whole virtual machine is inside VMware Workstation right now. So once the Hyper-V is installed, we're going to go inside and we're going to create a virtual machine. Now this virtual machine, we're not going to install an operating system inside. We're just going to create a empty virtual machine. So with operating system or without operating system, the procedure is same. That we need to check that how to detach a virtual machine, virtual disk, how to convert it into from VHDX to VHD. And why are we converting? Because now we will check, but till last course we checked that we uploaded the .vhdx and we were not able to still. So Azure does not support still .vhdx, it supports .vhd, older format of the virtual disk. So we're gonna upload that there. Well, if I check back now, so our virtual machine needs it is opening. Okay, so it's installing some updates. And once it logs in, then we're gonna go ahead. I was gonna say, restarting again. Are you kidding me? Yeah, okay. It needed a restart, so it's restarting again. Okay, one day, Monday or Sunday, it's gonna fully start, and then it's gonna carry on with the rest of the Hyper-V installation, which is very small. Applying computer settings, so it's pretty much reading there, reaching there. If we get back to the diagram, so next step would be create a VM. So we're gonna create a quick VM there, virtual machine inside Hyper-V, and that's on premises Hyper-V, Hyper-V, right? It's Hyper-V. Okay, I'll just log in. So you can see that it just started the rest of the solution, but it's going to be quick. It is done for me, so I'm just gonna click close. So I'm gonna click close. Once we click close, then we can create a virtual machine. Yay! How do we create a virtual machine inside Hyper-V? So there's a Hyper-V manager role here. So I'm going to go to tools, and we can just start this Hyper-V manager. Hyper-V manager, right? Tools, Hyper-V manager, and you can see that there's a Hyper-V manager here, and it just grabs the name of the machine here as well. So if you click on top of the name here, then it shows you the virtual machine window here, checkpoints window, and details. Checkpoints is just like, you have a snapshot there. In VMware is checkpoint here in Hyper-V. How to create a virtual machine there? It's if you right click on top of this name and click the new button, so you will see this virtual machine, right? Okay, so new virtual machine, and then the wizard starts for that, just like the wizard on Azure Virtual Machine starts. So the Hyper-V also, and click next, but it's just on-premises virtual machine right now. So the virtual machine name here, we can say Hyper-V-VM. You know why I give Hyper-V-VM? Because its virtual disk will also be same named virtual disk here. And it just says that, hey, you want to change the storage location? We don't need to, it's okay. And it's just asking for the name in the first screen. So I'm going to give the name and click next. Then there is generation 1, and there will be generation 2. So generation 1 is backward compatible with 32-bit and 64-bit, 32-bit operating systems, but that's pretty old. So generation 2 is good. Now, whether you choose generation 1 or generation 2, it's going to create a virtual machine whose virtual disk extension will still be .vhdx. So I'm just going to still go for generation 2, which has more features, advanced features than the 32-bit older virtual machine. So Gen 2, and then click next. And then whatever RAM you want to give, it's 1 GB right now. Actually, we're not going to install an operating system inside, so it's okay. Whatever RAM we have is okay. And use dynamic memory, although there'll be nothing inside. I'm just clicking it or not, doesn't matter here. So click next. And then it says that, hey, you want to connect to a virtual switch, which is connected to this physical network card. So yes, we'll connect to a virtual switch, although we're not going to be doing any kind of networking here for this particular machine. Then I'm going to click next here. and it says that create a virtual machine virtual disk. So this is that Hyper-V. So it just took the machine name .vhdx virtual disk, just took the machine name. So its virtual disk name is the same as virtual machine name. Its path is this, right? And by default it's going for 127 GB size, but it is dynamically expanding. Dynamically expanding means thin provisioning, or it's going to not format the whole physical disk and then occupy this much space. It's going to only occupy that much space as the software inside needs. And we're not installing any operating system inside this virtual machine, otherwise it would have taken 8 to 10 GB space there. So right now, but it simply expands on the physical disk if we install some software inside. Right now it's going to be very, very less space. So it's not going to occupy 127 GB here. Okay, so I'll keep it to defaults and click next. And install the operating system later. Yeah, so the procedure we're doing, it does not really require an operating system to be there, but if it was there, it's still the same steps how to upload. So let's click next and finito. Yay. Okay, so here the virtual machine is created inside Hyper-V, and I'm gonna right click. Well, we can start the virtual machine as well, but what's the use? It doesn't have any operating system inside. So the thing is that we can just check where is the virtual disk of this virtual machine. Now remember one thing, that this machine has been created inside the VMware Workstation virtual machine. So this virtual machine is inside Windows Server 2016, which is inside VMware Workstation. So it's called nested virtualization. So virtualization inside virtualization. Now this virtual machine's virtual disk I need to I need to go to, right? So I'm just gonna right click here, and I need to go to settings. I didn't start the machine, there's no purpose of starting that. So I'm gonna click settings, and in the settings I just want to check the hard drive. So SCSI controller and then hard drive. So you can see that this is the path where the virtual disk is living right now, and the extension you can see is .vhdx. So that's not going to go up, although we can check it out. Well, I'll still check it out now. Maybe they've added the support for vhdx. Otherwise, we need to actually convert it, right? So how to convert it? That's the next then question here. So according to the diagram, virtual machine is created now, and convert VM disk from vhdx to VHD. So we need to do that now, right? So how to convert it? So if we have right click the virtual machine, and then we go down to the hard drive level. So there's a edit button here, there's a inspect button here, browse and new button here, right? So if I click the edit button here, so then it says, hey, you want to edit this virtual disk? Okay, so I'm gonna click next here, and then it says you want to compact it, you want to convert it, you want to expand that disk. So we're gonna convert it. So this is within Microsoft extensions. This is not about VMware to Hyper-V conversions. So this convert is between Microsoft's two extensions, VHD to VHDX or VHDX to VHD. So I'm going to select the convert and click next. So I'll say that, hey, just please convert my virtual disk VHDX to VHD, and it supports up to 2 terabyte size. So it has limitations, it's an older format, but since Azure used to, and still hopefully I guess, that it supports only VHD till now. I'm going to click next here, and then it says, hey, do you want dynamically expanding or fixed size? So do not go for fixed size, because the size of it we gave 127 GB. So if you go for fixed size, it's going to expect that much space in your physical disk as well. So dynamically expanding, it's going to take very small size, and it's going to expand up to 127 as soon as you put the software there. So dynamically expanding is good to save space, and I'm going to click next. So now it's saying, hey, which folder you want to create the VHD, the older format, because it's already on VHDX and it's on the same, same path here. So if you just put a name directly, .vhd, it's gonna just create that, or we can click browse here, right? We can click browse here, and then we can put a name here, and the path is still this one. So the whole path is this, where it's going to be living. So what we can do is hyper-v. Well, the name is also coming down here, but I'm just going to remove the X from here. So I need the same disk but with different extension right now. Same name, but with, or we can just put any other name here as well. So it's a .vhd. I'm just going to click save. And this is the path actually we need to also access. Like I can just select this whole path, because ultimately we need to upload it to Azure now, right? So I'm just going to select the whole path till .vhd here, and this is still inside our Windows Server 2016. So I'm just going to right click here and run. So this path, if I want to reach, then I'm going to paste that path here in the run of this Windows Server 2016 inside the Amir workstation. So I'm going to press OK, and it opens a folder. That's where our VHDX for now is there, but now VHD is about to be here as well. But I opened the folder already. I'm going to minimize that. And so we gave the name of the older format or .vhd format disk, and we're going to click next, and finito. That's it. So finito, and it's done. Well, there was nothing inside, so it's done fast. Done already, right? I'm gonna press OK. So we got our .vhd disk as well. VHDX to VHD. Where it is? I'll just go back here and go down to the folder. So the two disks are showing there. I need to see the extensions. So I'm going to go to View and then go to File Name Extensions. So now I can see the extensions as well, and the .vhdx and VHD. So these are the disks that I need to, actually VHD I want to upload and attach it to Azure VM, but .vhdx I'll still check now that did they start supporting .vhdx from Hyper-V or not. So I'm going to copy both these disks out into my laptop, right? Anywhere in your laptop or desktop. So I just pasted it here. I'm going to click Date Modified, so they're on the top. So these two disks are ready to be uploaded to Azure, to be connected to AzureVM. Yay! Okay, so if we go over the diagram, so our on-premises side of task is done. If it was VMware virtual machine and its extension was .vmdk, then well, there are many extensions. So and you can just politely, if you politely ask Google, very nicely, if you ask Google, Google just gives you the exact result. So how to convert VMDK to VHDX or VHD, whichever you want. So and then it says convert VMware to Hyper-V. In GitHub there is a way, and migrating to Hyper-V, convert VMDK. So there are many other. StarWind has a software, V2V, that is called virtual to virtual. And in fact Microsoft has a software as well, but it's not coming right now here. But this software you can search really easily. So if I just type Microsoft, well, how to convert, and then there are many software that can convert. So once you get it converted, then it's just Microsoft Virtual Machine Converter. There you go. That's a software, Microsoft Virtual Machine Converter. That's a free software available from Microsoft site that can convert your VMware to Hyper-V. So Microsoft Virtual Machine Converter. Wow, that was not coming in. So virtual, because you might face that, and there's a 2019 version as well. So in production environments, if they're saying, hey, can you just move our data virtual disk, MVMC, yes. So remember it for the interview as well. MVMC, Microsoft Virtual Machine, converter. That's a software. Okay, so I'll just put that page here. Azure Virtual Machines. Oh, sorry. Put that link here at least. Converter 3.0 is there now. And let's go ahead. Okay, once that is done, so I'll just put that if you want to convert VMDK to VHDX, right? Even now it's very helpful. Okay, we'll go back to, now if we go to the diagram, we can see that there is, we've done,
Can I ask you?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, we just convert the VHD to VHDX or VHDX to VHD. So yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Create VHD in Windows and then attach it to Hyper-V instead of Hyper-V.
Sorry, I didn't get the question. You're cutting as well.
Yeah, those I can create VHD, right?
In Azure, yeah.
No, in Windows, just in my laptop.
In Windows
I can
directly, we
create.
cannot create VHD. It has to be 2012. If it is 2012 and 2016, 2019, then it only creates VHDX. Then we have to convert it. If it was 2008 Windows, then it creates directly VHD.
No, if I go to desk management,
Yeah.
from there,
Oh yeah, we can
there
directly
is
create
option.
VHD
Yeah,
as well. Yes.
yeah, I can select it and then attach it to Hyper-V instead of create VHD, then convert it, right?
Yes, that if you directly create that disk, that will be an empty disk. So this scenario is just that. But yeah, if you're saying that there's another way to create, yes, you're right. You can do that. But my scenario was that if this is a used virtual disk of a virtual machine, and then we want to detach it and convert it. So yes, then
Okay.
you're right, and this would be also created .vhd separately. We can create as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. This was here, right? New, yeah, this hard disk. If you go, but it's gonna be just an empty disk then. VHD here. So we can create a direct VHD as well, as Mohammed said. Thank you for sharing that. But if you can then attach an empty disk directly in Azure anyway, then why come here? But yes, we can do it this way as well. Okay, so let us go ahead and there we are. Thank you. So yeah, we're talking about now upload to Azure. So let's do that. First of all, we need to create a VNet, and we're going to create a resource group with that, and then we're going to create a storage account as well with that. And once these two are configured, then we're going to first upload the VHD. We're going to try both VHD and VHDX to storage account in the container, and that is page blob there. And then we're going to create a virtual machine, and we're going to make sure that it's not having managed disk configuration. And then we're going to attach this virtual disk from a storage account to a virtual machine, right? So virtual disk that we upload, we're pretending it has data, and then we're going to simply attach it to an Azure VM. So let's do that now quickly. The first thing would be that we need to go for, we need to log in from Azure. Okay, I'm logged in. So second thing is we need to create a VNet and a storage account and then virtual machine. So I'm going to go to the portal menu. We've done all this so many times now. So I'm going to go directly to virtual networks and then click the add button. And resource group, create new. So it's your first name VNet or whatever name you want to give. Oh, sorry, this is a resource group. So it's RG and 28Oct2020. It's today's date, resource group, and press O and K. And then your first name VNet here. So VNet name and the resource group name given, East US is our region. So let's click IP address. We already have talked about a lot about network. So it's the default network here, 10.0.0.16, and default subnet, which is all okay. And security. So we know already how to create Bastion host and DDoS firewall we don't need. So click tags. Okay, nothing in the tags, and click review plus create. Just flying by. And create. And once the virtual network is, well, it is created actually. So it is created, and I'm gonna go for the diagram, and the first thing is created. Now let's go for storage account here. So I'm gonna go to portal menu and go down to storage account. Oh, yeah, there's that. Check the subnet. Yeah, I have that bad habit of not checking it. So thank you, Manu, for that. I'll go down to virtual networks, and in the VNet, if I go to subnet, so there is the subnet. Oh, hey, what's going on here? I have a subnet. So if I don't check it, it's still created that. So I did not check it, right? And it's still created. Okay. So it creates the default. Yeah, so it's the second one that we are supposed to check, I guess, then. Okay. So that's good. And let's go back to what we're doing, storage accounts. And storage accounts here, I'm going to click the add button. So we've done that before as well. Resource group we're going to select is today's resource group. And then we're going to give some name here that should be all lowercase. So it's your first name, SA storage account, and today's date is 28Oct2020, and then whatever your favorite is, go for biryani today. Thank you very much. Okay, so East US, and then there is standard. Oh, okay. So standard, and yeah, the defaults are okay, guys. We're not really talking about storage account anymore, so we've talked about that enough. So let's go networking. Just create with all the default options, storage account and data protection. I think the best mandi is there in Mississauga in Al Munasabe. Maybe some of you know that restaurant. That's so cool. And some others would not know what am I talking about. Mandi? What's a mandi? Okay, anyway. So, yeah. In Niagara, oh man. Really? Best? Like BEST best? Or just best? No, come on, man. Give me this shop, man. Okay. So, so guys, data protection, we don't need any of these. And we're going to click advanced. And we start preparing for Azure exam. Very, very soon. Real. I think I have to dedicate some time for before the class, because there's Google Cloud there as well, and Oracle Cloud, and there's a winter course coming where I have to give you big news. I think this class will convert from 2 days to 1 day, but we're gonna keep on going forever, until our grandkids are going to universities. We're gonna keep doing these courses. So, oh, okay. So, okay. Someone else says, "Hey, but you're not telling me the name of that." Okay. So, guys, nothing in advanced, and tags, and then review plus create. So yeah, all the defaults, right? And click create. So actually, mandi is a rice and chicken, and oh, it's not like biryani. It's okay. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just good in eating, but not good in explaining the ingredients. So deployment in progress. So, wow, hey, what's wrong with my Azure? It's working too fast today. There's something seriously wrong with my Azure. Okay. So the things that used to take too much time, it's taking no time at all. So that's done. That's very good because there's another big lab we need to do. Oh, okay. So Chindan says today no Netflix today, and today network is good in GTA. Okay, so that's like it's happening everywhere. That just means your side is also fast. Very good, very good. And so, guys, we've created VNet, then we created storage, and then we need to create a virtual machine, but we need to be careful about the managed disk part of that, right? So let us go to the virtual machine here. I'm going to go to portal menu and then go down to the virtual machine, right? So let's click the virtual machine now. Let's see how fast it gets ready. So let's click add, virtual machine, just common options. Other than that, it should not be managed disks. So resource group here, and 28 October, today's resource group, and virtual machine name, your first name, VM01, uh, East US, and availability options, and then image is Ubuntu, so I'm just gonna go for 2016 here. It could be a disk from Windows 2012. It could, as long as it's a VHD, it's gonna be compatible. It's supposed to be. So D2S V3, 2 vCPUs and 8 GB RAM. So other than that, your first name admin. The main thing is not like we don't even need to go inside and check. The main thing is can we attach the disk? But yes, we can just go inside and check as well, obviously. But the main thing is can you even attach? Can it allow you to attach an uploaded disk from Hyper-V? So allow selected ports, RDP 3389, and click disks. So here we need to make the mega change, and that is this. The option is in the advanced area, right? So if you click the advanced, use managed disk is yes. So we're gonna click no to use managed disks. And which storage account is there? So it says that there's a storage account you want to create. No, we already have a storage account in which we're going to be uploading the disk. So it just says that hey, if you don't use managed disks, then you will miss all the SLAs. Managed disks in availability zones have 99.99% SLA, and create up to 50,000 managed disks per subscription per region. You can do that. Greater scale, high fault tolerance. Managed disks in an availability set are spread across multiple storage fault domains to protect against single points of failure. So it says that, hey, why are you doing that? So you just put us in the shock. So obviously, if there's a very specific scenario that you want to attach an on-premises virtual disk to an Azure VM, then only you do that. Otherwise, managed disk is just perfect. I'm going to click no here. That's the main thing we need to do here in a virtual machine. And click networking. In the networking, it should detect our VNet and subnet, and public IP is okay. So everything else is okay about networking. It's all about the virtual disk right now. And click management. So Vinod says if we do not do this, then we can never attach external disks. No, yeah, that's the main thing. If you keep it to managed disks, then you cannot do what we're about to do. So we cannot attach any external disks. We can only create internal disks. Okay. Oh, so advanced and nothing in management, nothing in advanced, right? So first in management, nothing there. If you go to advanced, we can just go for Gen 2. Oh, sorry. So yeah, it says that hey, why did you say no to manage this? Now we're not gonna allow you to use a generation 2. Ha. So okay, we'll stick to Gen 1. And we get to know that Gen 2 does not support external disks or uploaded disks from on premises. Anyway, let's click tags, nothing in tags, and click review plus create. Right? Okay. Validation nearly passed. About to be passed. Passed. Yay. Okay. And then we create. So Vikas says, but on the same page, there was option to attach the disk. We're not supposed to attach. No, it's not going to work with managed disk. Even though there is an option for attached disk, that attached disk could be Azure based because you can create separate disks in Azure as well. But it's not going to go for any external disk, uploaded disk there. Okay. Well, okay, so let's click Cree and 8. Even when you create a with managed disk or virtual machine, after that, yes, attached disk option does come, and even then it says it cannot support. Whoa, what happened here? Am I kidding me? Is there something wrong here? I clicked the create and there was an error. The deployment version failed. Additional details from the underlying API that might be helpful. The template deployment create VM is not valid according to the validation procedure. The tracking ID is this. See inner errors for details. You're a key thingy. So guys, is it working for you? Oh man, what did I do? I should have clicked the create button. Now it just took me to the start. Okay. So I need to move away from Scarborough. It's really teasing me now. You know, I wrote biryani, that's why. So your first name as A, and I have to start over. 28Oct2020. I'll go for Kapsa. Some of you don't know that. That's also Arabian delight, man. That's so tasty. Hey, where do we find Kapsa in GTA? Okay, so again, it's either must be or mandi, right? So I'm taking some alien names here for some. So sorry about that. I'll just later show you in picture. It's just rice with chicken all the time, but different ways. Okay, so Kapsa and East US and 2016, and I'll have to do that search, Google it. And Muhammad Awad already has promised that he'll be inviting on Mandi dinner when he passes. So I'm just waiting eagerly for him to pass now. Okay, so here. And hey, it's recording Muhammad Awad now. So I have witnesses here, 19 witnesses. So I'll just go quick now. Disks, and I didn't do anything wrong here. And click no to manage disks, networking, management, nothing in management, nothing in advanced, nothing in tags, review plus create. Come on. Yeah, Ahmed says all of us are invited, so Mohammed Waz is now stuck offering this in a full class. So if I pass, then hey, no, he's gonna pass. Don't worry. In fact, you know what? I'll start spending 24 hours with you now online, and I'll prepare you for that for the sake of that big party. So we need to make sure Mohammed Waz passes now. So and just stop eating 2 days before the invitation, right? 2 days before, just stop eating everything, anything. Then just be ready. You'll be so hungry when Mohammed Awad invites, and then we will all be sitting in a big table, and we'll attack. Okay, so validation passed and click create. So, yeah, before any party, normally just stop eating 2 days or 1 week before that, right? So you'll be so hungry. Okay. Oh, dining is closed due to COVID. Serious? Yeah. Okay, so we'll send the addresses, and you could just do a DoorDash or Uber Eat on that. You know, I'll send my address, and when you pass, just send that. Okay. So can it be delivered? Yeah, we can get it delivered. So that's it. That's even better. Yeah, nobody has to move, and all the walls just keeps on paying for for the whole family. It's a $29 platter. Okay. Oh, another one. Okay, the $39 platter. So okay, so we're going for that. Deployment in progress. And it's taking more time here. So guys, while it is taking time, if you go back to this diagram, you can see that storage account is created, right? So why don't we just upload VHD, but let's try to upload VHDX as well, just to check that do they now support that or not, right? So while virtual machine is created, we don't need to really wait for that. Go to storage account, go to the container, create a container. Inside a container, we're gonna upload VH and D. So let's create a container in the storage account in the blob section. So container, right? And in the container, we must make sure it is a page blob that we are selecting. Page blob is normally for VHDs, right? So we're going to see that now. Okay, so here, oh wow, seriously, it is fast. You know, virtual machine never got created this fast. Okay, so I'm going to go back to portal menu here and go to the storage account, right? Storage account, and then inside storage account, it also created one storage account for with the virtual machine, right? If I click that storage account here, and this was, if it was created with the help of a virtual machine, so although it used to not happen, but we can just create a container. What I'm going to do is, I think you're also seeing two accounts there, right? Those who are following, I think you guys are also seeing two storage accounts there. Okay, you guys are also seeing that. So I'm going to go for, I was going to go for the one that we created. So I'm going to go there first, and then check it out that can the virtual machine that we created access this storage account. It is supposed to access any storage account that we create, so it used to support access that. So let's go for the one that we created, right? And once we're inside, I'm going to go down here to the blob service area and click the containers. Excuse me. So once we click the containers here, then we're going to create a container. Now boot diagnostics, it does create this there where it can save all the log files. So I'm just going to click the container here, and in the container, well, that's so testing dash the name only contain lowercase. Okay, so testing dash on-prem dash disk, or whatever name you want to give. So we're going to create a container, and there's an advanced button here as well, but it's all about encryption and public level access, so it doesn't talk about storage here. But once the container is created, then we can test that storage as well. So I'm going to click just simply giving a name and click create and 8. So once we click the create button, then we click testing on-prem disk. That's the container created. Let's go inside that container, and basically we need to simply upload the disk. Now, I think in my case, yeah, I put it in a folder. I need to, wow, that's a long folder path, right? So where I pasted my two disks, I'm just gonna copy that path here, right? So right click, copy, because I need to give it. If you downloaded it in the, or copied it in the downloads folder, then you're okay. I'm gonna click the upload simply, and I need to upload some files, right? And you can see, even before going to the browse, you can see the advanced button, and when you click the advanced, you can see that there's a blob and upload.vhd files as page blobs recommended. So it says clearly, if you want to upload .vhd, then go for page blob, and if you drop down, there's a page blob here as well, right? So there's that upload.vhd files as page blob. We get that, and I've selected that, and I'm going to click select a file, and I'm going to click browse, and obviously you know where we need to go. So I'm going to right click here and paste and go for this 1 GB dot, oh sorry, repeat that again. Okay, repeat that again from, so if you create a container, then I'll click upload, blob default option. So yeah, blob and then containers. Did you create the container, Vikas, already? Not? So create a container. So click plus container. Oh, you create the container. So go inside the container. Inside the container, what we did was we just click the upload here. Inside the container, we click the upload, and then we simply went for advanced. So before uploading any file, we went for advanced. Here it says clearly that select the page blob if you want to upload. Even if this option is selected and you have selected blob, it's okay. Then it's gonna let you upload the VHD files. So I'm gonna go down here and click the page blob specifically. That this is a VHD file or virtual hard disk here, and then we can go for browse here. So let's click the browse button. Oh yeah. So and then I'll go for that folder 1gb.vhd is the virtual disk. No, that's not it. Date modified. I'm going to click that, and there's a hyper-v vm.vhd and hyper-v vm.vhdx, right? So let's just check the vhdx first, and if it supports, it's not going to give us an error. If it doesn't support, then it's going to give us an error, right? So if I double click the .vhdx, I selected first .vhdx, and then I'll just go way down here and click up and load. I was gonna so once we click upload, oh, it supports .vhdx. News for me. It used to give error for VHDX, so congrats. Anyway, so that converting was not needed. This means, so I'm just gonna still upload the .vhd as well. Still, let's just keep the path. So till the last course, it was giving error. Now it's not. So that's congratulations. In fact, it should then stop supporting .vhd because that's the older format. But I'm still trying to upload VHD to check if it still supports that or not. I'll click upload, and yes, it still supports .vhd, but yes, it does support .vhdx. It used to not support that, but it does now. Okay, so that would be a few months of time that now it supports that. A few months back I checked it, it was not. Okay, so now if both disks are there, the only thing left is what? To connect the virtual disk to the virtual machine. If it attaches or it gives an error. So if you attach and click save, oh man, seriously. You know what, it's gonna give an error, but that error is not that, hey, this is not supported or that cannot be attached. The error will be that why this disk is 4 MB. It should be minimum 20 MB. It supports, okay, I remember. So supports minimum 20 MB sized disk. Serious. Okay, I remember that. Okay, so well, does the virtual machine even reach that? Okay, say if I click the upload button, so there's that block size here. Normally the block size is that how much data. There are sectors. It's divided into sectors and sections in a disk. So normally if you have a bigger block size, then you can store more data per area, per specific area of the disk. So if you go for 64 KB block, so it's going to be smaller. Data would be stored in a block, which means that it's going to take a little more time to really grab all the data if it's huge data. So if it's just smaller data and not being used a lot, you can go for smaller blocks as well. Otherwise, bigger blocks just support in a specific area a lot more data there. And this is just if you have underlying storage really fast, that you can store a large amount of data, because it really retrieves the data from different sectors and blocks of the disk. So if the blocks are bigger, it's going to retrieve more data from one block instead of going to another block and then the other block and then the other block. To the file system helps it search for the files, and the main thing is the retrieval is quicker, and it doesn't take more time when it's bigger blocks there. But you can also check that how file system works, and the files are all spread, and then it retrieves the files from across the disk. Okay guys, so here yeah, I'm gonna cross that, and let's just go to the virtual machine basically. So I'm just gonna create another tab here, duplicate tab, and in the duplicate tab I just need to go to the virtual machine dashboard, right? So I'm gonna go to the virtual machine dashboard. Why do I want to go there? To attach these disks to that Azure virtual machine. Can we do that or not? Can an external disk uploaded from on-premises be attached to a virtual machine or not? So I'm going to go to the virtual machine by going to the portal menu here and then go down to virtual machines. Okay, that's one thing, and I'll just go inside this virtual machine and I'll go to disks, right? So there's that add disks written here, right? So disks, virtual machine, and add disk, add data disk. So if we click the add data disk, does it let us go to the storage account first of all, and then does it let us really select? So it says source type. You want to just create a new disk, or actually you want to go somewhere. So it says existing blob or just a new disk. So no, it's not a new empty disk we want to create. We want to go for existing blob. If we click the existing blob, then there is source blob here, and let's click browse here, right? And then yes, so any storage account that you create, we can access that, right? So we're gonna go for our account here, where we create the container. There's the container that we created the disk in or uploaded the disk in, and we put the container. So I'm gonna go for the new one, VHDX, because yeah, this is all new for me. Like VHDX is supported now. I have tears in my eyes now. It's tears of happiness. Okay, anyway, so for last 1.5 years or 2 years, I was just saying that, hey, when will they open the support for VHDX? So I'll have to, show this to all the previous Azure classes. Select and ouch. Okay, can we attach that? So I'll take my tears back. Okay, what is saying? VHD file name should contain .vhd extension. Ha. Okay, I'll go browse again. During when we used to upload, it used to just say VHDX is not supported. It used to say that. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the storage account. I click the browse button again now, right? Yes, as Nalab says, does not work. So let's go back and select the VHD. So thank God we did upload both. So it still needs to attach. It's still improving. So one stage is clear that it lets us upload, but what's the use of that? We cannot use that. I am back here. I'm selecting .vhd. So, but it's an improvement, right? So all my tiers, gone for. Okay, should have spent those tiers somewhere else. So for something else, press OK. Yeah, for CUPSA. Yeah, where's the CUPSA? Just kidding. So let's press OK. And that's it. So I selected VHD, right? But the thing is, when you click the save button here, it's going to give you an error. If that error is that the disk should be 20 MB, more than 20 MB, then obviously, it's not that error that we're not going to attach it at all. It's about the size should have been bigger. So what you can do is, I've shown you the whole thing here, but what you can do is we can repeat that lab with some operating system inside and then try to upload that, right? So yeah, there you go. So it says here disk size must be between 20 MB and 4 terabyte. So that's the error here. And so you could just follow this whole lab with, at your free time, you could just install an operating system inside, maybe Ubuntu or Server Core, and then so simply follow these steps and upload the disk and attach the disk. So it's gonna, and attach it again. Yeah, that's it. So can we increase blob size from 4 MB to 100 MB blob size? No, it's a virtual disk size, .vhd disk size. So blob we created just now to upload. Okay guys, I just wanted you to see the steps, and that VHD still rules, and VHDX at least they have allowed to upload it. So some tears for that too, tears of happiness. But the thing is, it still doesn't attach. So you can see that it should not be 260 KB disk. Just put some operating system and simply attach it, right? That takes time of putting operating system. So, but I just needed to show you the whole process here. As long as the objective is concerned, so this is how all you can do that. And you can also try with vmdk at home. You can just try with vmdk how to convert that vmdk and then upload it and attach it to, so VMware virtual machine, virtual disk, convert it to vhd and then upload it and attach to Azure VM would be a really cool. But after doing these steps, now your scenarios, whatever scenarios come up in your mind, just go ahead and test them out as well before you hit the interview. Okay, guys, so let's go for the next lab. Woohoo! Yay! Woo-wah. Okay, so yeah, let's go for even more dangerous lab than this. Okay, not dangerous. I mean, like another hybrid lab. Today is a hybrid day, right? So, okay, what is the second lab, which is actually more interesting than this one? This one's kind of boring. Um, well, I'm saying that. Okay, so guys, just wondering how dynamic disk 127 GB option would behave on Azure. 127 GB. Well, normally in production environment they upload 200 GB, 400 GB, even 1 terabyte disks with a lot of data there. It's just that once you're uploaded there and you can attach, it's just like a normal disk. The main question would be, can you upload first thing? Second thing, can you attach second thing, right? So once attached, it's just like any 1 terabyte disk that you would have created directly in Azure VM as well. If you can attach an outside disk, this is the way to attach.
No, actually, my question is basically if we select in VMware dynamic disk for 127 GB, but we have used about 40 GB actually space, right? So how is gonna react on Azure once we upload the disk on the storage account?
How it's going to get to Azure?
Yeah, how it's going to behave on Azure once we upload the disk?
So suppose it has 40 GB filled up space out of 127 GB, so it's going to be just 40 GB normally attached disk, and it's going to go up to the 127 GB, and yeah, so it's going to just show 40 GB there while 127 GB is space is available as an empty space.
So it's the same behavior like we have on workstation or Hyper-V.
Yes, it's going to act exactly act the same way. But this is a dynamic. No, this is a dynamically expanding disk, right? That will be done with fixed disk. That it will use. If it is dynamically expanding, whatever size was there just now will be actual size there for the disk up there. So if our disk is 40, it's like our disk was what, 260 KB. So it just ended up 260 KB disk only there. So definitely, it's if it's going for fixed disk, then it's gonna have that kind of behavior.
So it means like if it's a fixed 100 GB, so it's gonna take 100 GB fixed space on the storage account, right?
Yes, exactly.
So second question is like then if we have a dynamic, if we are using 40 GB at the moment, it's gonna take 40 GB on Azure, but it will not expand up to 126 GB later on.
Now that is something that I need to test as well. That can we do expansion on VHD disks? I'm sure that we can, but I didn't test that because VHD is still Microsoft's technology, and Azure is also Microsoft, but I didn't test that. I'm sure we should be able to expand that.
So it means whatever space we are having at this at current stage, so it's gonna upload the same storage
But
account, right?
in the dynamically expanding, yes, that's the only.
Okay.
Cool. Nice question. It's only for data disk, right? Yeah. So it's only for data disk. What is the other type, Chintan? Like VMDK, VHD. Yes. Well, what is the third type? I mean, mainstream are this, but it's actually not for VMDK. VMDK has to be converted to VHD. So the only supported one is VHD, the only one. But whatever other type is there, we need to convert it to VHD to end it up on Azure. Yeah, not for conversion. It's the data disk. Exactly. You're right. Okay, guys. So yeah, so VMX will be then a separate file that we cannot attach to the VHD. But as far as we can upload it, yes, we can upload it. It's just that then we need to figure out the use of that. And since it's a VMX like for VMware configuration file, so yes, there is no use for that unless you have a VMware machine there in Azure, which they do support. Now VMware has a collaboration, not now, way before. So virtual machines of VMware can be up on Azure directly as well. So VMware has done some kind. So you have to just pay a little more for their data center, virtual data center, and you create your own VMware environment data center, right? Virtual VMware data center, and install vCenter there, and then you can have VMware on top of that virtual machine. Otherwise, you need to convert. All right. So, but guys, what's the next scenario? Next scenario is this. Okay, this where? No, just that's it. This. Oh, let me just.
Amir, what's the purpose to upload the disk to Azure?
The purpose. Okay, let me explain that. Hey, we talked about that at the start of the class. So.
Sorry, I joined late, right?
Uh-huh. Right. Okay. So the purpose here is that if you have a scenario where you have a huge amount of disk here, a huge amount of data here, and you want that data intact to be uploaded there instead of copying the data up there and then rearranging it again with permissions and everything, so you can just upload the virtual disk directly, detach it from here and upload it there. And second thing is if you want to have, well, main thing is it's the data. You want to take the data intact within the disk, not touching it at all in terms of permissions and organization of the data. So then you can detach it and upload it there. So that's the hybrid scenario we're talking about.
And how the Azure will start charging you if you just upload your own disk with data? Just according to the space they will charge you?
That's it, according to the space.
Thank you.
And can we say other word, data migration to cloud? Yeah, this way also virtual disk can be detached and attached. So data migration we can say this way as well. Otherwise, yeah, there are many ways to do data migration. But this is, data migration would be that you create a folder there and you upload a lot of data there in that container. This is actually a virtual machine's virtual disk that is being detached from here and attached to another virtual machine. So yes, data migration, it's type of a data migration, but it's related to virtual machines components. Data disk migration. Okay, that would be a better name. Okay, so let's go ahead, guys. And what's the next one? Okay, the next one is the good thing is that we have already the local on-premises infrastructure, but this time we're talking about failover. Now that's a very, 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 very interesting topic, but it's a long one now, right? So failover. How can you possibly have a failover that spans from your on-premises to the Azure cloud? Okay, let me explain that in English now. What am I talking about? So we have a physical server here, IBM or any other, HP, right? And this is a hypervisor. So obviously it's a Hyper-V in our case right now, or you can convert it to any machine to this virtual machine. But what are we talking about? Failover. This is also called migration or failover, right? Migration or failover. What does that mean? So we can migrate a VM, not VOM, VM from on-prem to cloud. This is one form of migration, and Microsoft in their official documentation actually call it also a kind of migration, right? So we can migrate a VM from on-prem to cloud by creating a standby copy, which is an exact copy. We all know what is standby, right? Exact copy of an on-prem active VM in Azure cloud. So overall, what we are trying to say that normally we have to let me explain the on-premises scenario, and then I'm going to explain the cloud scenario. What happens in on-premises? Okay, there are some. Okay, first thing, standby mean passive. Exactly, standby mean passive. So guys, here, what happens in Hyper-V? So suppose you have two Hyper-V hypervisors there in your on-premises environment. So what do? The boss says, hey, you want to have a failover of the critical virtual machines here. So you have one virtual machine here, and that is active VM here, and the other one is standby or passive. So you create a partner VM between the two local hypervisors, and that is standby slash passive VM, right? And then what happens is exactly. In fact, a question is coming your way now. Let's see who answers this correctly. So the purpose of active VM, the end users will come here, right? End users will come here and make changes. What is the purpose of passive VM? And not only purpose, what does it do day to day? That would be the main question here. Anyone knows that?
This question?
Yeah, the question is,
Yep.
yeah, you were saying?
If the active is fail or down, the passive could take over.
Okay, that's one thing. That's perfect. What? So that is, suppose active doesn't go down for 2 years, right? So passive just sits there. So what else passive does continuously? What else it does? No. So Vakas and Chintan are saying load balance. Okay, load balance is something else. For load balance, you need active VMs, right? So suppose you have two VMs and both are active. They will, yes, active VMs do load balance. Active passive does not do load balance. Passive is not receiving any end user connections, right? But active VMs are going to do load balance. So it just goes for failover network. Okay, second thing is keeps up to date. Yes, Milab says, and Vakas says replicates backup purpose replication. So yes, not only that the passive standby VM can fail over, but why is it able to even fail over is because it's doing a type of replication. Then next question is, what type of replication is it doing? Synchronous replication or asynchronous replication?
Asynchronous.
Asynchronous replication.
Yeah.
So is it A or is it not A?
It's not A, I think, because it's just one side.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, there are actually different opinions here in the chat. There's async and there's a sync. What's going on? So it is sync. So what is synchronous replication? It's same time replication, and remember that this is LAN, so they can support all the speeds. And second thing is that it's zero data loss. And third thing is that no downtown, right? Okay, no downtime, right? And then there is fourth thing is that requires a lot of bandwidth, right? And that is for synchronous replication. Then what is asynchronous? Obviously the opposite of that. So asynchronous would be delay in replication. There is I'll go for a PowerShell pipe sign here. So there's a downtime, and there is a data loss, and if it migrates, and obviously it's so requires a lot of bandwidth. One more thing here, see this, mostly on LAN, mostly on fast networks, or basically LANs, right? So when you go for asynchronous replication, it is on WAN, but also if a LAN, there's a big campus, huge campus, and there are actually two buildings, and kind of have slower network, so you go for asynchronous replication. Okay, and then sync. So there were comments there, LAN to LAN, synchronization, async, and then sync, but that is dependent on the network setup, and two-way sync, one-way async based on a internal snapshot. Okay, guys, so the main thing you understand now is that this is going to be obviously a synchronous replication. So it will be, did I say asynchronous? This is not asynchronous, this is a, and separate, there's a space there. This is a synchronous replication, right? Synchronous REPL. So why? Because within LAN, they have huge speeds there, and it's the same time, as soon as there's an update going on, it's being written here as well. So if this machine goes down and the failover happens, so this machine will be fully updated with the last second changes there, right? So that's why it's called synchronous replication and can only happen in fast networks or LANs, right? Okay, but what is the Hyper-V R over WAN? Yes, then obviously you would go for asynchronous replication. I mean, we cannot possibly do synchronous replication over the WAN. So then you have to go for asynchronous replication, unless we have lease line or dug out lease lines between the two branches nearby. Then we can still achieve synchronous replications there as well. Otherwise, it's normally asynchronous. So setting is based on network setup, exactly, network speeds basically. So guys, we're talking about what? We're talking about local network. Now, what if that's it. So what if the other machine, passive machine, is on Azure? So Azure is just nearby, right? Of course not. So that's a big distance. The nearest data center of Azure to your company's data center could be, we don't know where, how far, right? So in that case, can we actually even achieve that active and passive partnership between our on-premises and the cloud, Azure cloud? So there's a yes here. Da-da-da. So, but then we know that which replication will work in this case, right? Azure VM standby / passive, right? And obviously, if we can achieve that, standby and passive, so an exact copy of this machine up there, and then it's going to be async, exactly, first of all. Second thing, that can be failover as well. So that's going to be really interesting, right? So if we can fail over, then that is very good. Okay, so that's the scenario here. That what kind of services in Azure actually support this kind of setup, and why am I calling it kind of migration? It is failover, yes. Why am I calling it migration? Microsoft in their documentation mentioned one or two machines you're migrating, so you can do it this way as well, which is that because you have an active machine and you want its passive machine. What is a passive machine? Passive machine is an exact copy of active machine. So suppose you do create an active machine's failover partner in the cloud, then you simply failover, and what did you achieve? It just moved the whole active content moved to the cloud, and it can be called that you just migrated the machine to the cloud, right? So that's one way of migration. There are bigger ways of migration. You have full VMware environments with maybe 10,000 virtual machines there. So then in that case, you need to download their agent, migration agent inside your VMware big environment, and then one by one it migrates all the machines. So that's a much bigger setup, but this is one of the supported setups where Microsoft says you want to create a failover partner permanently. Yes, you can go for permanent failover partner. Otherwise, just go through this process, and your full machine will be migrated up there. Create a standby partner, and then simply failover. What else you need? So Chandan says it means it occurs when failover active machine. So we can manually failover as well, or if the disaster strikes, obviously it's going to failover anyway. So if we manually failover, our active machine is up there because we got our exact copy of that machine up there. So pretty much our machine is up there now, which means that if you want to get rid of this one, just fail over and disable the active machine and let everyone connect to it, and then properly just separate it from the partnership, right? We can do that too for the migration process. It's not, so Chetan says it's not for manually migrate without failover. No, this is actually a failover lab. Microsoft says this can be also considered as a migration for 1 or 2 or 3 virtual machines. So Microsoft considered it migration plus failover. You can just consider it migration, just failover and disconnect it from the local machine. You just migrated. Congratulations. So Dev says this also means that the virtual network on Azure also has to be set up correctly to access migrated VMware. Exactly. Yes. And we're about to do that. Let's do it now. Yay! But any questions? Let me know. Okay, so it's all about ASR, Azure Site Recovery. That's the service that's going on. Where's the sound coming from? There's a shh coming from. Anyway, so is anyone's mic open? Only my mic is open. Okay. So, guys, this is the scenario. Hopefully, we understand the scenario now, right? So, if you understand the scenario, let's do it. Now, obviously, we need to have one hypervisor and one virtual machine down here, which we actually have. And then, second thing is that we need to make sure that it is this network is this hypervisor is connected to internet. So let's check if we have internet connectivity as well in this virtual machine inside Hyper-V. So I'm gonna go for the diagram that we will actually work on, but this is just the explanation here. So I'll first go ahead and quickly copy that and paste it here. So we still use our machine there. We still use our current lab, but for this purpose now. Okay, so I'm back to my machine here, and what I need to make sure is, do I have internet connection? And also that that this machine, well, overall, if I have internet connection here, first of all, so I'm just going to go to Internet Explorer here, and whatever's the election news. Yeah, so there we go. Okay, so as far as the internet is concerned, I'm okay. I have internet connection, right? So that's one thing that we need to check out. You know, the new browser recommended for Microsoft. I'm just gonna click switch now here and allow. Do you want to allow this website to open an app? Okay. So although I don't need the browser there, I just need internet connection here. So making sure about that, let's go to Azure, because we need to create some more configurations there. And for that purpose, once way back, I had created screenshots, just a million screenshots there, and tested with all the errors that labs. I'm just gonna put that up in front of me so I don't. If we miss one tiny step, that's it. We're gone. O and K. So there's a long list of documents where there's a document with 162 pages, you can say. Each page has one screenshot, so 162 screenshots. See how much hard work there is involved. So migration project, yeah, we just need to go to the Azure Site Recovery, and there we just need to create a virtual machine. So let me just go to that screenshot where we're going to start, and let me explain to you as well what are we doing in Azure, because on premises we need a Hyper-V and one virtual machine that Hyper-V should be connected to internet. So on premises pretty much we are ready. right? So here I took the screenshot. Oh, that's why there are so many screenshots, because I showed how to install Hyper-V there. And then, so we're gonna create a VNet. In fact, we have a VNet. Oh, congratulations. Okay, so we created a VNet here. I'm just gonna go for the. Do you think the time will be okay to finish? No, we're gonna keep doing that till 12:30. Hopefully, we're gonna finish by 12:30 or 1 o'clock, right? So just grab your coffee, and when this happens, I grab my worst coffee, right? Worst coffee means it's so bad tasting, it's gonna keep me awake for a very long time, right? So, so yeah, yeah. So I think we're gonna finish by 10. Yeah, I'm sure. Hopefully, sure. Well, depends on if so. It needs to create a on-premises environment. Let me just go with you and check these things. So we have an on-premises environment, right? Second thing it needs is, so this is our lab now, and we're gonna go step by step now, because in Azure Site Recovery we're gonna have some tricky stuff, but pretty much we have created 50% of the lab already, so that's good news. And this is Hyper-V, and there's a virtual machine and internet. These two things should be there. If they're there, we're good with the on-premises already, right? So, and internet, so VM. So this much we have. Or can we do, oh, that's the second one. Can we do it next class? Because it's important. 8:14. Hey, we got 2 hours. Yeah, we can do it in next class as well. So what does the majority say? So it's a democracy, so we can just put a vote on that. Instead of internet, if there was a VPN connection set up, we would use that, right? Yes, Milap, if we have like a VPN gateway configured there and it can connect, yes, you're right. Then we can connect with VPN connection as well. So Mohammad Abbas and Waqas says that, hey, this is an important lab and a big one, so we can do it next time, next class as well, and we can carry on with the rest of the topics. The Azure related, there's a database topic we need to cover that we still have enough time to cover. So we all want to go with the database topic instead of this. What's the vote? Let's do a vote in next 2 minutes. Now or never? Oh, just kidding. Now or Friday? So there's no guarantee it's gonna complete at 10. So no guarantee about that. On Friday? Yeah, Friday we're gonna start from 6 o'clock, so we have more than enough time on Friday. The whole idea was to finish it early today? Hey, because it's always looking for early. What's wrong with you, man? Okay, Swan says next class because my VMware does not work anyway, so I'm watching it. Okay. So only one guy says, let's do it. So yeah, there is no guarantee about 10 o'clock, so guys, let's take a decision now. Let's do this bigger lab. This is a much bigger lab, so let's do it on Friday. And let's go for the next topic. Next topic. Not toppings, topic, right? So I'm always thinking of food. So I'm gonna close that, and let's go for. Let's first of all, we need to power this off. Although this next database lab is also kind of it involves hybrid configuration, but it does not involve a virtual machine. Although you can keep the virtual machine up and running if you want. We will be creating. We're going to go through the databases. We're going to explore all the features, and then we're going to download that SSMS. You know what we did in AWS. We're going to do the same here, but from SSMS, which is SQL Server Management Studio, we're going to connect to one of the Azure databases. So let's minimize this, and well, while we were talking about all this, So we can, if we are not finishing early tonight, then can we have a break, please? Oh, okay. Okay, guys, let's take a 10-minute break. So 8:17 right now, and go for 8:27, and then we'll start databases. We'll talk about all the features, and then connect with SSMS to an Azure database. So 8:17 to 8:27, 10-minute break, and let's come back. Okay, break. So let us go ahead, and the topic that we want to go for is the database, and I'll just go ahead and we're gonna go to uh, different offerings of databases by Azure, like it has been offered by AWS as well. So I'm gonna go click home button here, and then we're gonna go ahead and try to go to the portal menu, and in the portal menu there's that SQL database is written there. There is Azure Cosmos DB here as well. Yes, so there are different ways we can create databases. So one is that we can create a virtual machine in Azure. So we can create the first one would be obviously the Azure VM. And Azure VM, obviously you have a OS there, and then you can install SQL. Now this is just like you have a virtual machine here in VMware Workstation, install an OS and to apply a SQL application. And then so that is also available in Azure as IaaS solution, infrastructure as a service. And then there is a platform as a service solution where you don't have to worry about the operating system there, and you can just deploy the SQL server there with the wizards, and they're just gonna do that, make this available for you. So this is SaaS, yeah. So software as a service. This is software as a service. We can say yes, because software as a service is that it's just installed, and you don't worry about the application deployment. You don't worry about the OS. It's just there. You create a username and log into it, and the SQL server is just in front of you. Now this is like Exchange Online as well. But what we're talking about is that we can say platform as a service, or PaaS, where you don't worry about the operating system, but you still have to deploy the application itself. So that is what they offer. But SaaS based, obviously they would offer as there's Azure Cosmos DB there, which is a no SQL database, and then there are SQL databases as well. So let's try to check it out. There's a SQL database written here, right? But the way to deploy is that you can they do ask that, hey, how much of the underlying hardware you need to deploy for the databases. So they say that, hey, create a separate instance. So create a SQL instance, give hardware, give virtual hardware configuration, and then select database and all the configurations of the database. So some of these steps and some of these configurations we need to select. Okay, so what we will do is we will try to go for exploring all the features of databases, and by going to this SQL database, and I'm going to click that SQL databases here in the portal menu, and then we're going to click add button here. So we can create first a SQL instance and attach this database to that instance. We can do that too. Suppose you can go to the search option, and if you type here SQL, so when you type here SQL, there is SQL databases, there's SQL servers, there's SQL elastic pools, managed instances, server registries, virtual machines, and then SQL Server stretch databases, SQL Server Azure Arc, SQL managed instances, Azure Synapse Analytics, formerly SQL DW. So there are many ways to create or go to the different aspects of SQL databases there. So there's another question here. What is the instance here? Instance is a virtual machine, and with that virtual machine created, now it's not going to be the regular virtual machines that we create in that virtual machine area here, but SQL is in SQL instance just means that what kind of hardware you're providing, and it is exactly IaaS, but it's the way SQL is created is not the same as the virtual machine is created if you want to go with how Azure has offered the SQL Server. So that's why if you go to the database directly, then it will still ask that, hey, where's your instance and what is the hardware you want for this database, how much RAM you want, how much cores you want, processor cores you want, how much SSD drives you want. So it's going to ask that while creating a direct database here, right? Okay, so Milab says, so those instance VMs are not accessible to use. Yes, that's how it is. That when you create, suppose as I type SQL here, right, and it says SQL database, then SQL server as well. Suppose you create a SQL server, so then that server will be created and database will be attached to it, but you don't have to. You can't really access the actual virtual machine itself or the server itself. It's just created in the background. What you worry about is the database itself directly. So, and since it says SaaS is like Citrix, software as a service. So SaaS is that just like Office 365, right? So you log in and Exchange server, the email server is there. You log in and SharePoint is there. You don't have to install and deploy anything, or define the RAM and CPU and hard disk of that. Or when you log in, Teams server is there, right? Or when you log in, Azure Active Directory is there. So that is software as a service or SaaS. Citrix can be deployed in a virtual machine. So it will be IaaS. Citrix, if it is available, if you log in directly and Citrix is readily available, you don't have to deploy anything. You just configure it, start configuring it, right? So then it is SaaS. Otherwise, Citrix can also be available in IaaS, infrastructure as a service, or software as a service, which is SaaS. Okay, so let's go ahead, guys. And there we were talking about the SQL databases. Now there is that SQL servers that so either we can create a SQL server where we can define the just the server types there, and after that we can create a database and attach it to this server. Or we can create a database first, and it will ask during that wizard, hey, do you define a SQL server? So during the wizard of creation of SQL database, you can also create a SQL server in one go. So separately you can deploy, and with that, and some of these services will come in the wizard of SQL database as well. So Lab says SQL database is plainly for just Microsoft SQL DBs, right? Not any other types of DBs, e.g. Oracle. Well, yes, it's a Microsoft product, so they would really support the SQL Server databases of their own. But if I go for, suppose, Oracle, right? So Oracle database normally is in the marketplace. Inbuilt functionalities are for just Microsoft, purely for Microsoft SQL Server, but you can go to marketplace and deploy a virtual machine or appliance that already has an operating system and a third-party databases available there as well. So yes, here it is just Microsoft, but you can deploy Oracle database suppose this is a marketplace, right? So if I go there, Oracle database, and click that, so in the marketplace, we can just deploy that virtual machine in Azure, and it's gonna charge you the underlying hardware, but you're gonna purchase the license from Oracle, guys. But you can deploy an Oracle database in Azure as well, or any other rival databases in Azure, because it does offer underlying platform. Microsoft does want to earn from their hardware being used by even third party or even their rival software being used on their platform, so they will earn still. Okay, so that's why we can deploy pretty much any type of database here, any type. You just have to go to the marketplace for that. You can create RG in creation of VNet. So yeah, we create a resource group when we are creating VNet. Exactly. So that's I think you're talking about when we create the SQL. If I type SQL here, so we can create SQL server separately and then database and attach that database to the SQL server, or during the creation of database we can create a SQL server during that as well. Yes, so we can do that too. Same as we create server in the creation. Yeah, exactly as you said. So guys, let's go for creation of database, and we need to then install the SSMS or SQL Server Management Studio as well in our laptops and desktops, and we need to connect from our laptop to this database. I'm just gonna go down to this SQL database. Normally, that's one way. So let's just go with this one way first of all. I'm gonna click the SQL databases. Let's click the add button here. So it just starts like any other deployment that we do there. So now subscription, free trial, and then it goes to resource group, our today's created resource group. I'm just gonna select that, today's created resource group, and then it goes for database name. You can see that it already says, hey, you don't have a server already, because we could have created that up there. We didn't, because we know that we can create during this wizard as well. Okay, so database name, you can just go for your first name, DB01, or any name you want. So suppose you go for your first name, DB01, and then it says, hey, you didn't define any hardware, so let's do that. If we drop down, obviously we didn't define any, so let's click the create new. We could have just created that before this as well. So I'm going to click that create new here, and you can see that there's a globally unique name required here. Oh, your subscription does not have access to create a server in the selected region. For the latest information about region availability for your subscription, go to this. Please try another region or create a support ticket to request it. Okay, so what I'm trying to, yeah, okay, so hey, we all got that? Oh, okay. You know what? We have a machine already working there. We don't need that machine. We can delete that and then it will let us. But right now, thank you for letting me know. We'll just go for some other one. Hey, how about East US 2? Does it not support East US? Suppose I want to stay East and West is too far for me, right? So whichever works for you, just go for that, right? Reselect the same region again. Oh, okay. If I reselect the East US, oh no, it's not working. Well, I did create those that other virtual machine, so it's saying, hey, that's it. In free trial, you just get that. Okay. Oh, okay. So for you it worked. That's cool. Safe, did you delete the other virtual machine that we created? It's still there, right? And oh, it's still there. Okay. So Jason also is. Still, you were able to create. So it's just me in Scarborough, I guess. I'll be in my Scarborough again. Bilal says, I reselected again and error went away. You're kidding me? Oh! So only one technical, logical reason for that. Welcome to Microsoft. Seriously? Okay, so it's like Twix or treats. Just for Microsoft. Oh, there you go. So, okay guys, we were talking about database.windows.net. So this is a globally unique name. If anyone else has taken that name, you can't take that. So other thing, you have to use the lowercase, and it's globally going to be available. Obviously, you need to then create your security there. So what we can type here is the database name. So this is the database name here. So, but no, this is the server name, SQL server name. So SQL dash, it's not a VM like VM. So it's a SQL instance, we can say the exact terminology, because we're not going to have access to our virtual machine in the background. That's just being created underlying the database. So instance, SQL instance dash your first name, and dash, so somebody on planet Earth has created that too. That's too common. So you can go for some unique after that. So I'm going to go for 28Oct2020. I think that's today's date, so that's good. So that's a big name. Now this is a server name that you will use to connect from your laptop's SQL client, which is SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. That is a client from which you connect to a database, right? So the client will need this name. And then the server admin login. So login information we already know. So your first name admin and the password. Small ABC, ABC, 3, and small ABC, okay. Right. All right. So SQL instance, your first name, last name. So this you could have done before as well, but we're doing during the database creation because we can. So I'm gonna press ONK, right? ONK. So once we did that, so now we have defined this SQL Server database as well. Then you can see that there's a want to use SQL Elastic Pool. Now this is really cool feature here. Elastic Pools provide a simple and cost-effective solution for managing the performance of multiple databases within a fixed budget. That's the main thing to understand. Within a fixed budget. Now SQL Server can go out of control real fast, and what you were not intending in terms of the budget, and you might see those charges coming your way as well. Suppose then the application that was connected to this database, that application sent too much data there, right? Maybe the users created too much data there, and the application obviously had to save that data in the database. So when too much data was there, which was totally unplanned, or you didn't think that it would be that much data saved here in the database, and hence your monthly charges will increase without your planning really for that kind of charges. So then it comes that you can fix a budget, and within that budget they will keep the performance of the database as well. So that's a really cool feature. And Elastic Pool provides compute, EDTUs, and storage resources that are shared between all the databases it contains. So storage and compute will be shared between all the resources. Suppose you select some kind of processor, hey, 2-core, multi-core processor and 64 GB RAM, that's it. So whatever number of databases you've created, they're gonna not go more than 64 GB RAM and 2-core processor. Now that could also affect your performance and productivity of your employees. If the data is being saved and retrieved very slow, it's going to affect your performance, but your budget will not be affected. So it's a it's a balance between what do you want, really, productivity and budget. Are they in conflict? So databases within a pool only use the resources they need when they need them within configurable limits. The price of a pool is based only on the amount of resources configured and is independent of the number of databases it contains. So whatever resources you're about to configure now, so this is Elastic Pool. You just give the specific hardware, they're going to stick to that hardware. If the performance is affecting, they're still not going to go ahead and give you some better performance by automatically increasing, because that increases your budget as well. So it's all budgetary decision. So let's go ahead and select that. Yes, I want to create an Elastic Pool. I'm going to press yes to the Elastic Pool, right? Then it says that, well, okay, go ahead and further configure it. So since we didn't create any Elastic Pool, so we need to create a new Elastic Pool, which is just a combination of what kind of underlying hardware you want. So let's click Create New, and we're going to give it a name. Then we're going to go inside. So just give some name here. So Milab says, can we select no and go over the option below it? Is there a no and an extra option? So if we go no, then this is again asking you for the hardware. So suppose we first click no and then we will go for yes. So first of all, if we go for no and click configure database, so again it's just asking how much of the RAM you want. This is the same thing that's going to ask in Elastic Pool as well. But now here, if you configure that, what kind of RAM and processor you need, so it's not going to give you guarantee that it's going to stick to that. Your performance requires more, it's going to go up beyond that, right? So, but Elastic Pool won't let you go beyond your hardware. So there's that DTU, and there's a basic, there's a standard, there's a premium, and vCore based purchasing options, how many processing cores you need there, and then there is a DTU. So what is a DTU? It says here, right? So if I click the DTU here, service tiers in the DTU based purchase model are differentiated by a range of compute sizes with a fixed amount of included storage. So fixed retention period of backups and fixed price. So the price is still fixed here. All service tiers in the DTU based purchase model provide flexibility of changing compute sizes. So compute size just means RAM and processor, you want more, you want less, with minimal downtime. However, there is a switch over period where connectivity is lost. So suppose you want to change the compute sizes, they say that there will be some downtime there for that. So compare the DTU based service tiers, and it just gives you that what kind of services you really want: development and production, basic, and then standard is there, and then there is a premium, right? So obviously you can see that maximum backup retention is 7 days here. They all provide 99.99% retention, SLA, but backup retention is and 35 days here for this CPU, low, medium and high for premium. So you can see all the performances there, IOPS, how much IOPS will be there, how much read and write is there, and column store indexing. This is just a type of indexing that gives you better read power in databases. So it is also supported there. So yeah, that's the total hardware that they're going for. And what is DTU? Basically, now they bothered to tell that here: database transaction units, DTU. So compute sizes are expressed in terms of database transaction units, or DTUs. For single databases and elastic database transaction units, eDTU. So what we were about to go there was eDTU to save some cash for creating a pool, and that it's not going to go beyond that. So DTU is just database transaction unit. What does that mean? But how much transaction the database is doing, how much file retrieval is going on, how much file writing is going on, or data writing is going on, data retrieval is going on, not file, data retrieval. So how much that, so that's called database transaction unit. So well, that's the main thing, that Elastic Pool, eDTU storage and pooled database limits. Maximum storage size per database is 2 GB. Elastic Pool, when you go, this means you have limited budget, obviously. And when you go for without Elastic Pool, just the DTU base, so that would be that you have more budget that you can afford to spend on this as well. But eDTU also has limits here of basic, standard and premium, and then maximum storage size per pool, maximum eDTUs per database, and standard and premium has 3,000 and 4,000 and per pool, and then maximum number of databases per pool. So the main thing is whatever number of transactions you're willing to pay for, that's what you can select here. And definitely this DTU benchmark, physical characteristics, CPU, memory, IO associated to each DTU database transaction unit measure are calibrated using a benchmark that simulates real-world database workload. So they're just saying that you want to check the performance there. How would the performance be? Schema and transactions. So they're going to just let you then give some kind of their own testing results there and features that you can get from there. So anyway, you want to check this out. Then there's database transaction unit, or DTU. I'm just going to put that link here and there as well. Find details of Okay, so we're gonna go back to where we were, and I'm gonna go back to this. So that is what you can select here, database transaction units here, and I'm just gonna close that because if we go for elastic pools, we need to check it out because many businesses do go for that too. So let's explore what's the difference between if you don't select that. So we saw that if we don't select, it's showing us that screen, but if we do select, then it first says, let's go ahead and press yes to that, because you might want to select that in your production environment to keep a specific budget related performance. So I'm going to click create new here, and first it says that give some name there, so you can just go for sales elastic pool. Suppose it's related to sales department, and it's their budget that we're talking about. Suppose we just can't give any name here. I'm gonna press OK here, and then we're gonna so once it is selected here as elastic pool, you can still see the same area, configure elastic pool. Before it was not written as elastic pool, but elastic pool has a specialty that it's not gonna let you charge more than what you defined already. I'm gonna click that configure elastic pool, and you can see that it takes us to the same page here, and you have general purpose. Chintan says general purpose. What is that? Like configure elastic pool, or it's general purpose written here instead of that? Compute plus storage. Oh, so you don't see the elastic pool option there at all? This means because you have to press yes, and then you should see that, and you have to give a name here, as we did. So I guess so select the press yes here, and then go for give a name, click create new here, give a name, and then you will see this configure elastic pool.
By day, I give the name, but I can see by default is general purpose.
Oh, I hope you're not on pay as you go.
Yes, pay as you go, right?
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Pay as you go. Oh, okay. Well, I'm on free trial, so anyone else on free trial and doing this? And anyone else on pay as you go and doing this? Okay, so hey, only you and me are doing the lab, I guess. So, well, it's a yes and then this. Oh, okay. So there are more. Pay as you go. Ahmed says, Milab says, I'm on pay as you go and I get the same option as free trial. Oh, so, Chintan, are you doing pay as you go with your TDSB? You were saying that you use that account. That's connected to a school, I guess.
No. It is like same like Azure subscription one.
Okay. Oh, okay. Pay as you goes, and then they are also seeing the same options as mine. So I
think
No.
more than you.
My one is different.
Oh, okay. Yours different.
What is yours?
Yes, I'm on pay as you go, and my one is on different. Yeah, I can see different
Oh,
options,
so you also
like general purpose.
Oh, okay. So any one of you can share the screen and we can check it out. Like not well, the screenshot. You can upload a screenshot and we can check it out as well. But yes, if you have different options and there is no other option to go for, then yes, that's what you get, I guess. But I don't know why it's different. Okay, there you go. The screen was. I was thinking the screen's coming. So, yeah, yes, elastic pool. Hey, you didn't create a elastic pool yet, or did you? Oh yeah, you did.
I did.
Well, it's showing the same as my. Oh, on the top it's saying general purpose. Okay. And here, for me, it is saying standard, which I'm gonna actually change. I thought the below one is saying. So you are able to, Chintan, select the elastic pool successfully, which is good. General purpose is showing for you, and for me standard. I can change back to general purpose as well. So it's okay. I mean, we're gonna go inside now elastic pool and check it out and select the basic actually. Then we're gonna compare again. So yeah, so it's okay. I mean, because we haven't gone inside and tried to. So I'll go back and quickly put the chat back. Okay, let's go ahead and let's go inside the pay-as-you-go option here. Configure elastic pool. Let's go inside the, oh, did I say pay-as-you-go option? Seriously. Okay, let's go inside the configure elastic pool option. And then, so it is configure standard here. And I'm going to click that basic, right? So for less demanding workloads, for which is basic, then standard for workloads with typical performance requirements, and premium for IO intensive workloads, right? So suppose I go. Oh, okay. So I'll click here. Okay. So there, suppose I go for premium, right? Which I can't. Suppose I go for standard, which I can, but because I went for, obviously if I need performance, why would I go for the elastic pools here? So that's why.
I have different option.
You can click. You got different options?
Yeah.
Yes, me too.
General purpose, business critical. Okay. So the two pay-as-you-goes are getting this separate option. So it's
Yes.
any other pay-as-you-go. Actually, I asked that before as well. Click the left arrow. Milab says click the left arrow.
Okay.
There you go. So now you see our option. So this means that it was just another screen showing. Thank you, Milab, for that. And I'm going to click share. Okay. Oh, okay. So if I go to vCore based here, now I get what you were getting, vCore based. So if I go back to load basic or the one vCore based here, so then it comes. Okay, thank you for that. And let's go ahead. So I'll put my screens back here. All right, so well, if we stick to the basic, we're inside our elastic pool. So in the basic, it's $96 per Canadian dollar per month, and pool settings are there, and then there is 50, and you can go for still 100 here in terms of the reserved EDTUs of the pool, which is your overall CPU and RAM as well. So you can see that it's if you increase that, so it's going giving you the cost per month as well, estimated cost. And so this is the overall how much data, how much GB you want to consume when it comes to this EDTUs here. But if I go back here and go for per database settings, so per database, how many? Suppose you're planning to actually deploy 2 or 3 databases or 4 databases. So how many per database you want to go for? And it is just 5 DTUs that you can reach. Obviously, this is low performance we're expecting already, and that's why it's just going. But it's, hey, why it's not showing? Oh, okay. No, it's not. That's it. So per database settings, it's 5 DTUs, but can I change that if I just type something inside this? Nope. And if I type something, nope. So we're going for the basic, and basic says, what are you trying to do here in terms of performance? You're not getting any performance, you're in basic, right? So, and the pool settings, overall, how much you want to consume in terms of data. So data transaction coming in and outside, how much GB you can afford. So pretty much it's afford, and they're not gonna let you go more than this estimated cost, 192 per month. So well, it's a balance between performance and money, budget. So it's up to you how you go for. So EDTUs is this. I'm just gonna keep it to 4 GB, which is the default one. We're not even gonna consume this much in our particular lab. So I'm just gonna click apply. So let's click apply here. And we've gone down to what we wanted in terms of budget, and it's I think it's well, less than $192 per month, $96 per month actually, the default one. So let's go for networking here. So Rob says 4.8 GB means that total size of all DBs is limited to that. Yes, it's per database overall, and this much transaction input output of data is allowed. After that, let's purchase some more. So we can just increase our budget according to our needs. Then this is the basic total. Well, it was 0, so we just selected the default option in this configure elastic pool, and this is on the 50 DTUs as the basic, which is $96. So that's the default one. Apply and networking. Right, so in networking, we see here connectivity method. So do you want to connect from outside? Obviously we want to connect from outside, so outside means our laptop. So I'm going to click this public endpoint. So public endpoint just means that you can deploy the client, SSMS client, SQL Server Management Studio, right? You can deploy that client, and then from that there connect public on a public endpoint. So you'll just use simple internet to connect. Or private endpoint, if you are connecting from VPN from your local branch, or you're connecting from a virtual machine inside your VNet that you have created within Azure or outside Azure, but private endpoint would mean that you have a VPN connection coming here. So we're going to stick to public endpoint here because we do need to connect from our laptops or desktops to this database. And firewall rules, it says setting allow Azure services and resources to access this server to yes, allows communications from all resources inside the Azure boundary that may or may not be part of your subscription. So this is just saying allow Azure services and resources to access the server. So it is on no, but if you press yes, what will happen? What will happen is that you have so many services here, right? Here you have backup, local network. These all services of Azure from these services can also access this database, or you can connect any of these services to the database. But if you click no, obviously any of the other Azure services will not be able to connect to this database, and you can press yes to it anytime you want later as well. And then add current IP client IP address. So if I press yes to add current client IP address, what is that current client IP address? Set add current to yes will add an entry for your client IP address to server firewall. So that's very good. And what is that? It's going to add your public IP of your DSL router from wherever you're connecting. It's gonna add your public IP of your DSL router, right? So obviously we need to connect, and for that we really need to put our DSL router or public IP, whatever public IP we're behind it. So we need to add that. Only then we can connect, otherwise we can't connect actually. So I'm going to press yes to this. Well, I'm going to keep no to this. Even if we press yes, we don't plan to attach any of the service for now. So yes here, and click additional settings. So Milab says, so if I have VM resources, then I would have to select allow. Yes, you're right. VM resources or any other application, maybe developer application that wants to connect to a database, yes. Okay, so here, additional settings, data source. So do you have some kind of data you want to put in the database, or do you want to create a empty database? So none means yes, you want to create an empty database. Backup means, oh, I have a backup and from there I'm going to import some data. Or let's go for sample database, and that is called AdventureWorks. Now Microsoft has created this AdventureWorks database for practicing. Suppose you have a lot of tables inside, you have a lot of data inside, so you can practice so many SQL queries there for searching or creating more tables and adding more columns and rows, data into more columns and rows. So you can do all that from this practice database. So it will have a lot of data inside, a lot of tables and rows and columns and some fake names will be there, fake data will be there, so you can practice if you want. Otherwise, you can have an empty database as well. So we're going to go for sample here, so we could have some populated data there in the database as well. And database collection defines the rules that sort and compare data. So searching and data comparison, you go for this, and cannot be changed after database creation. The default database collection in SQL Latin General CP1 CI is there. So yeah, for sorting or searching and comparing data service, it's okay. The default is okay. Then there's it says for Azure Defender for SQL, and that is protect your data using Azure Defender, a unified security package including vulnerability assessment and advanced threat protection for your server. So that's very good. Not now is there, but you can do a trial version. Obviously, in production environment, you must have this because it's going to go for, it's gonna keep on checking your vulnerabilities. Suppose you kept on doing some more configurations, and because of some configuration, you're now vulnerable for some latest known attacks or unknown attacks. So it's gonna actually tell you that, hey, whatever you configured, this kind of configuration can be a cause of a hacker attack. Advanced threat protection is especially for any suspicious activity going on against your database. So these two would be very strong tools to protect your databases. We're going to stick to not know, because these are automated services and you can just enable them anytime. How about database backup and archive? That you have to manually start that backup service separately, right? You can go to the backup service here, or if it comes didn't come in the in the wizard, so then you have to separately deploy a backup service or create a backup vault and then attach it to this database. So it's a separate service you have to purchase and attach here if it doesn't come in the wizard, but that's not included in this security. So click tags, and I think in the tags normally I put there, but just saving some time, review plus create, and cost included in pool is $96. It's not gonna let you go more than, if you use elastic pools, it's not gonna let you go more than 96 per month. That's very small. Maybe you have very small data that processes, so you're saving money here by just putting. So that's just for that database. Now the rest is all okay. Let's just go ahead and click create. So let's click create. So guys, while it is creating, we need to do one quick thing. We need to download the SSMS. What? SSMS. So those who have done AWS, you may already have SSMS in your laptop, but let's just go to another tab in the Google and go for that Google search, SSMS download Microsoft. So just type there SSMS download Microsoft. So Milan says, did you select Azure Defender? No, I did not. I just kept the default, which was not now. And
I think the default is start free trial.
Okay, so yeah, in my case it was not now. So guys, go for not now. Otherwise, if you did start, it's still a free trial. Suppose you are in the process of creation, so it's still a free trial. It's not going to charge, but otherwise not now was by default for me. I didn't know that you didn't have that by default. All right, so guys, on the other tab, go for SSMS download Microsoft. If you have put in that information here, then I'm gonna press enter, and this is the link to download SSMS, right? SQL Server Management Studio. That's the client with which we connect to the database. So I'm just gonna click that and download SQL Server Management Studio. If you go down here, then you go for download SQL Server Management Studio is the first link on this page. So I'm gonna go for Control C and put that link here, and in WhatsApp as well, and in this to download SSMS to connect to SQL database. Okay, so I'm just going to click download SQL Server Management Studio. So it downloads now, and I'm just going to click save. So it's a small file, 635 MB. Okay, not that small. And once it is downloaded, hopefully it is, then go ahead and click and just install it on your laptop. But do not restart. If it asks for a restart, do not restart. Well, you can, but then come back. Otherwise, just install it and it's still gonna connect. So yeah, it's asking me release 18.7.1 SQL Server Management Studio. So I'm gonna click install. Yeah, we can install it on our VM as well, or directly on the laptop as well. It's just a client side, so it does not, it simply remotely connects. So from a VM or on laptop, yes, whichever. Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio with Azure Data Studio. So Azure Data Studio is the new way to connect, but still SSMS is famous. So normally it takes forever to install. So while it is going on, if I check back there, you're kidding me. That also used to take so much longer time, and now it is not taking that much time. What is wrong with that? Okay, so back from Italian accent to English. So I'll just, so it's also created. What is right with Azure today? Okay, so we need to go, we can go to the portal menu here and we can go for SQL databases and click the SQL databases. It's done, and you know, we should do all the very big huge lab today because it's so fast. So I'm gonna click that and go for okay, so I'll keep it on overview because we, oh, in my case it is done. SQL Server Management Studio with Azure Data Studio on my I was gonna say on my cell phone is done. Seriously, what's wrong with me? So on my laptop it is done, and I'll click close. So SQL Server Management Studio is installed, and my database is deployed as well. Now I'm gonna open by going to the Windows 10 search, or if you have done that in your virtual machine, just go to the search and type SSMS, or just go to that Windows option and it should give you up there somewhere. that SQL Server Management Studio. If I go to search and it's SSMS, so you can see that it's showing SQL Server Management Studio. So I'm going to click that SQL Server Management Studio. Ready? All right. So I'm going to click that. And one day, Monday or Sunday, it's gonna start. So you know what? This machine is eating up my processing and RAM. So just shut down this machine, and next class we're gonna go for that. Hey, where's my SSMS? Still opening. Oh, there you go. So it pops up down here, and this is what you will be seeing there. That what is the server name? And in fact, yeah, it's going to be empty, obviously. So what is the server name, authentication, login, password? So if we go back here to the console where we are seeing the overview, so you can see that there's a server name written here, a long one that we gave during the wizard. So that is the server name that you need to use. I'm going to click that copy to clipboard. So this whole name in the overview, I'm just going to click that copy. This is the name that's going to let us connect to the SQL Server from our SSMS client in our virtual machine with internet or laptop. So I'm going to put that name and paste it here, right? So it should look like this now. And yeah, your username, password for SQL Server authentication. So your first name, admin, and the password was small abc shift 123 shift 123, right? Oh, Jintan is already connected. Woohoo! So I'm just putting the screen there, so those who are a bit behind could see that too, or I'll just put it on the WhatsApp as a screenshot. So guys, you need to just, oh, Milab is connected as well. Okay, there you go. So if we just grab that server name from Azure overview window, then you should be able to connect. Okay, so I'm just gonna click connect here now. I think nobody needs this screen, or I put that screen there as well. So I'm gonna click the connect button now, and yay, connected. Woohoo, yay. Okay, so well, we're connected to this, and there's databases here, there's security here folder, there's integration services catalogs here. But what we see here is if we expand the database, and I'll collapse the other one, but if we expand the database, so the database that we created is there, your first name DB01. And if you expand that database, so you can see that there are many other folders, but what we're interested to see is the tables. Normally you put all the database data in the tables, in the form of tables. So when you expand the tables, you should be seeing some tables already populated there that we never created. Otherwise it would have been an empty tables folder there, but you see there a lot of tables here, right? So dbo.build version, and then there's customer address, product category. So these are the sample tables there with a lot of data. If we go to customer, sales lt.customer table, and I right click here and go to select top 1000 rows. So we can click that select top 1000 rows here, and then it's going to show all the data inside the table. So Mohammed says, if we have web app on-prem, can I connect to this DB? Yes, technically yes. It's just that just like we have connected to this through this SSMS to the database, that web app should have the connectivity connector. That's what I can say. Whichever developer has created that web app would have that Azure database connectivity supported in the app. And yes, this is the same way. You just put the server name and the port, and that's it. You connect from the app as well. Normally the app does not connect this way, obviously. The app would create a full database inside. Suppose I'll give you a scenario here. When we install SharePoint on premises, so what happens is that we have one domain controller. I'm talking about on premises, and then there's another member server. There's another member server. In this member server, we installed SQL Server. Here is the DC domain controller. Here is the SharePoint application. When you're installing SharePoint application, so it asks that give me the address of the SQL Server so I can create my database inside. And it's not a very big, huge database, but initially it starts creating one or multiple databases there during the deployment. Now it needs to actually create its own database. We're not going to be creating a database for it. So this means that if it connects, this SharePoint application connects to Azure. So first of all, we need to know what is the bandwidth we have here. And second thing is, normally the database size is not that big, but we should have consistent connection. Suppose we have very good connection and bandwidth. So yes, it just needs to know what is the name of the database. From your network, it can access on internet, through internet, over the net, over the internet or VPN to the Azure DB. So yes, it's the database size normally in the initial state is not big, so it can not easily, but it can create that database if it has a connectivity. So you can just try with some application installation that requires a database to be separately, database SQL Server to be separately available, and try to give this name what we gave here. What name? Alt tab. Oh, seriously, it's not going for alt tab. Oh yeah. So this name, server name to the application. If it accepts that, normally it asks for server name / a database name, and whatever database name you put there, it just creates that database. So it depends on over the WAN connection how does it work, but it should work. It does work, basically. Okay. You're welcome. Okay, guys. So if we go back to this SSMS here, there we can see all the data there, and you can run some queries here as well. Other than that, suppose we go for this database. So right click on the top here in the database, right click on the database here, right? And then go for new database, right? Once you click the new database here, I right clicked on the databases and then I click the new databases. So then you can create your extra new database as well, if it lets us. If we can get rid of this blue revolving donut, or do not. Seriously. Okay. Oh, there you go. So general, and then there's database name. You can just give any database name here. Well, remember that we have the lowest package of elastic pools. So but anyway, I'm just looking for your first name, db02, right? So I just gave the name of the database, and I'm gonna press O and K, right? Your first name, db02, that's all, and press OK. So what I'm expecting is it's gonna just create a database for me. I create the DB, but it does not add it to the elastic pool. It does not add it to the elastic pool. Normally it detects that you have created that in the instance, right? This instance. So elastic pool has been assigned already to the instance. So even if it doesn't show now, later maybe it shows, or overall whatever database you create, it's going to detect whatever activity is there. It's not going to let it go more than $93. But does it show or not? Yes, it might take some time for it to show up. No, well, I actually did not check that if it shows, if it doesn't show. So I need to check that out myself as well. But this is how we can create another database here. Now, normally it really works fine or faster. I realized that I should have added more DTUs there, database transaction units, so it may have given better performance, or maybe it's not just my internet connection that it's taking forever. Wow. Used to be not that slow. Okay, it's created. If I just collapse the first database, so this is my second database. If I expand the second database and go to the tables, right? So this is empty. Why? Well, the first one had the sample, it was a sample database and it has all the tables. So this is pre-populated because of that sample database and all the data Microsoft provides. Second one we created just now, so it's empty. There's no data inside because there are no tables created here, right? So what I can do is I can right click on the table and go for new and create a table, right? Right click on the table, go new and create a table. And then, so it says column name here. After I click the new table, this comes, and then I can just put their name, tab, and then city, tab, and cell phone, tab, and how many, oh man, seriously? Oh, I should not have given space here, but, oh, it also does not support more than this. How many biryanis you brought? So, you know, maybe that's a building there you can't enter without this, and any pop. Okay, so but we get the idea, right? So any pop. That's can, right? Ah, what's wrong with me? Any oppo, whatever that means. Anyway, so this is today you are, yeah, it is something like that, right? Cups of mandi must be biryani, samosa. What's wrong with me? Ah, okay. So, well, we create a table, and then I'm gonna save that. So I'm just gonna click on top of this, right click, and then save table 1. Or we can click save table, and we can just go for your first name table, right? Your first name table. So you right click on the top here and just create your first name table and press OK. So now this table should appear here when we refresh this, right? And the table, there's your table now. If I right click here on top of that and go for select top 1000 rows, so it just gives me the, you know, this, how many biryanis you brought and any oppo, whatever that means. Okay, so that's a typical table there, and that's it. So I need to add permission on table. Hey, permission on table. So normally there's a security there, and but there are some scripts that you can use to allow user add. So normally you do it on the database level. That if you expand that database, and there's a security tab here in the database, this one, and there are users here and roles here. So you can give those to any users in, right? Alright guys, so this is how we connect to the database here, and it let us connect easily. And I'm gonna minimize that and go back to our console of the database. In the console in Azure for the database, you can also see Power BI, right? Power Business Intelligence, then Power Apps, and then Power Automate. So there are separate certifications now available for Power BI. Business Intelligence, it just means that any business intelligence apps or analytical or reporting apps there that you want to connect and automate the process of apps connecting to the database. Then there is Power Apps that is also available. This is a big software itself, Power Apps, right? Oh, can you check if your new DB is in the pool? Okay, let me check. So, you know, there's a SQL Server here as well. Let me just go to the other way. Elastic Pools is also there if I just type SQL. So there is Elastic Pools here, but there's SQL servers here as well, right? So Elastic Pools, I think that's yeah. And then in the Elastic Pools, database resource utilization, right? So overview, if I go to overview and Elastic Pool data storage, I've used up 50 MB and allocated space 50 MB. So that is one thing. And then database resource utilization, your first name DB01. Yes. So it does not show the second. Oh, okay. So we have created the database inside our when we connect it to that. So yes, obviously that's a second database and it should show that, but you can attach the second database by going through here as well, and that database it will check as well. But why it's not showing the second database right now is something that I have to check, and I have to check the documentation as well. But maybe refresh? No, I think we would refresh that a lot. But so there's a create database in the Elastic Pool as well. But yes, it should show us more database that we created. I don't think it's gonna show right now, but yes, I have to check the documentation as well. So general purpose DTUs does say that whatever databases are there, Elastic database settings, right? This 0 to 5 DTUs. So that's a very short. Yes, there could be a limitation that it can only support one database and not let you create more. If I go inside the DTUs itself, it says per database, and then click databases. Actually, there it should show now. No. Yeah, it still does not show that. So either it could show later and you can just keep this up and check after some time, or per database settings, yeah, it's just one whole it's saying, but yes, there's no pool settings, nothing. So Saf says you can see yours under SQL databases. Okay, that's good, but not under Elastic Pools. Okay, thank you, Saf, for sharing that. If I go for SQL and SQL databases, oh yeah, there's a second one that we created. And first one is Elastic Base, other one is general purpose Gen 5. Yes, other one is not assigned Elastic Pool because we just created from inside. So it has to be assigned Elastic Pool separately. But that was what he was talking about, that if I go to the second database, can we assign Elastic Pool now after creation? Because it says here no Elastic Pool, right? So normally I think Elastic Pool is defined during the creation, but we can upgrade from that as well. So if I click no Elastic Pool, so it's inside the Elastic Pool, and then there is new Elastic Pool. If I go import database, there's an import database here, right? So if I click import database and configure required storage, yeah, it's gonna go a bit long, but I think that the outside created database can be added to the Elastic Pool as well. SQL databases. Oh, there you go, it's the second one. I can see that now in Elastic Pool. No, actually, I went out of that. Okay, anyway, so this is something that we can work on during our free time, that how to add the second database into an Elastic Pool. But the thing is that it should be, I think it should be attached. I didn't really try this, but I think we should be able to attach this to our current Elastic Pool. If I go to my current Elastic Pool here, there I am already in the Elastic Pool itself. Yeah.
I think it is on configure SLO when you create database.
In the configure? Oh.
You can see my screen. You can see my screen.
Oh, there's a general purpose in the configure SIO. So create
that's why it is showing general purpose.
Can you change from here? Yes, if you sign in and then maybe it will let you, or otherwise when we create a new database, Thank you for sharing that. I'll share back. One more question. How about we create a third database, and are we able to assign during that, although there was no option showing there at that time? If I create a third database here, because we're still connected, and system databases, new database. Oh man, seriously, it's gonna take forever. So first thing, can we assign a second, the database that was assigned not to the elastic pool, can we reassign it to a elastic pool or our elastic pool? Do we have to create a new elastic pool for that? And first thing, that was first thing. Second thing is, can during the creation of the database here, can we assign elastic pool at that time? So I'm there now, and so configure SLO, and I can see that too, and I'm also not signed in. So Azure options, obviously right now it can't do anything if it's not signed in. Oh man, seriously. If I click sign in, it's gonna, okay, really, it's not detecting the one that I'm using. Okay, I hope I remember my password. Next, you already are signed in. Okay, in remain signed in with this. No, sign out. Oh, that's why it's grabbing a wrong account for me. But okay, thank God I'm not reading it loud. I'm so used to doing commentary. Ah, that's not it. Oh, okay, I'm logged in, but can I change it from here? Okay. Oh, I see a lot of options here, but general purpose, hyperscale, premium, basic. Basic goes 2 GB, but it's not really naming it elastic pool. If I go for above packages, okay, so it's from here. Free. But yeah, so it does not really let me go for elastic pool, but it does offer me different options here. General purpose, business. It does actually offer all those options, but not exactly as elastic pool. Okay, anyway, so when you're creating it, you can just go for all those options as well. And if I go to the options itself, so I can select 2019 database with all those other, and then create a name. So while during creation, we can still select those packages, but not by the name of elastic pool there. But that's an interesting question by Milab and others. So yeah, can we add a second database to the elastic pool we created? So that would be one task that we can find out and search. Yeah. Okay, guys. So we were talking about this, and I searched online. You have to create DB in Azure if you want it in the elastic pool. Okay, there you go. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, we just have to dig down deep a little, and that's it. So suppose you do want to create multiple databases. How about, yeah, so when you create a second database, so yeah, let's try that too, guys. If I go back here and I want to create another database, right? So if I click the add button here, can I add from Azure the new database to the elastic pool? Yes, obviously we can choose that. So if I click the yes here, yeah, and the elastic pool that I created was sales. So yes, when I create from Azure, you're right, I can actually add it to the sales elastic pool, this one as well, but only from here. Thanks for confirming that. Okay, guys, so that's good. And if we go for writing SQL here, so managed instances would be that you would not, your hardware, underlying hardware will not be shared with others instances. Then there is SQL Server registries and SQL Server virtual machines. So if I go for SQL Server registries, normally a registry here supposed to mean that it's already create a SQL Server registry to your SQL and Server end of support instances and get access to extended security updates. So this is just saying that create a SQL Server registry to register your SQL Server end of support instances. So if you click learn more here for SQL Server registries, the once SQL Server has reached the end of its support life cycle, you have the option to sign up for an extended security update subscription for your servers and remain protected for up to 3 years. So when they say, hey, we don't no longer support this SQL Server, they will still give you 3 more years. So you could, plan your budget to upgrade to a new database and purchase that. Do some. So that is there for extended security, and can be purchased on your own premises. So free and enabled by default when migrating on-premises servers to Azure virtual machines. You can then use the SQL Server Registry service in the Azure portal to register your end of support SQL Server instance. So we get the idea that SQL Server Registry would be that you can simply extend your support to more time. So give me some more support here, boss. So that would be your SQL Server Registry here, right? But then there is another one, and that is if I type SQL here, so there's that SQL virtual machines, right? So if you click that add button here, so then you can see the options here, different types of options. When you go to SQL virtual machines, I went to search and I typed SQL virtual machines, right? So it gives you option. How do you plan to use this service? SQL databases best for modern cloud applications, hyperscale, and serverless options are available. Resource type single database, elastic pool, database server. So we could have created this way as well our database while we are being offered different options. SQL managed instances best for most migrations to the cloud, lift and shift ready, single instance, and there's a show details written for managed instances here. So managed instances provide full SQL Server access and feature capability for migrating SQL servers to Azure. This feature here, and single Azure Arc enabled managed instance provides SQL Server access and feature compatibility that can be deployed on the infrastructure of your choice. So when you're migrating, then it gives you very good full featured SQL database. It lets you get migrated to a full featured SQL database. And then there's a SQL virtual machine best for migrations and applications requiring OS level access, lift and shift. So this means that you actually create a virtual machine, and that virtual machine also you can access, and it tells you that, hey, on top what kind of image you want to create. SQL 2019 with Windows Server 2019, or free SQL Server license, SQL 2019 developer on Windows Server 2019. So it goes down to even, guys, you know that SQL 27 can be installed from 2017, 28, and 2019. They can be installed on Linux from now on as well. SQL 2017 can be installed on Linux as well. So that's pretty interesting. But you can have full virtual machines created here. You can have managed instances, and then you can have what we did just now, SQL databases as well. So these are the three ways to create the databases. You can play with all those as well when we go for this. And if I type SQL here, then there's SQL stretch databases. And so normally stretch databases are when you create a database there and you want to have it highly available across different regions, or just across different availability zones, right? One more thing in SQL databases that I wanted to show was that their geo replication. So for database, you have geo replication here as well, and select a region from the target regions list to create a secondary database. So that's really cool feature that you can just, so East US is your active copy of the database, and you can actually choose West US. Suppose I go for West US. I just selected West US in the geo replication. So then West US is here, database is here, and do you want a readable copy of that? Well, that's what it says. And target server, configure required settings. So on the target server, what name you want to give there? So obviously you need to create a SQL instance there as well on the target side, and and that's an elastic pool for the other side, West US readable copy, and how much pricing tier. So basic pricing tier you want, how much you want to pay for the copy there. So when you select all that, then a replication from East US to West US will be created, and your database copy will be created across the region. So that's really cool as well. That you can go for database copy there. Obviously, this is something that you would definitely want to jump into, that you would go for geo replication. And then there's a sync to other databases, and if you click that, so sync group one, so new sync group, and this is also sync group, new database, create new database, and then add sync members. So if I suppose go for test here, and this is a existing database, suppose I go for, and existing database I have actually two now. So suppose this is, I need a synchronization partner for this automatic synchronization, and how much frequency you want this synchronization to be. Maybe what, okay, 10. So the sync frequency should be between 5 to 30 days, 5 minutes to 30 days. So if we go for 5 minutes, I think I should type minutes here. Whoa, seriously? I think it's hey, how are we supposed to type here? And they didn't put any help here as well. Last okay, 5. Value must be a valid number. Okay, 05. Are you kidding me? This sucks. Sorry. Synchronous frequency should be between 5 minutes to 30 days. So yeah, wow, it's supposed to be. For a virtual machine, when you set it up, it's pretty straightforward. But here, they are not really helping. Is a sync on the same instance? Sync in the same instance. For the databases, normally it's supposed to be, oh, there's a minutes, seconds. Wow, I didn't select that. Okay, sorry. So, and conflict resolution. So, hub win, member win. So, conflict resolution, just means that if there's a conflict between the the active and the passive machine, or the sync partner here, so who wins in that? So I'm just going to press OK here. But when it goes to creating a sync group test, then we can create sync members. So normally it's supposed to be a separate server, and it should be a separate availability zone or a region that we can define ourselves. But it could be between two databases, wherever they are. They could be even within the same instance, two databases as well. So it's just saying that created there. It's creating the sync group test. So first it's going for sync group test. Normally it should let us just complete that, but first of all, whatever we synchronization, now it goes for the other one. Hub database, what is the username? That's the first database here, right? And your first name, admin, and that's what I put there, the password, username, password there. And add an Azure, so member database, so hub or the active one, and the add an Azure database. So if I click the add an Azure database, so this is sync member name, free trial, and Azure SQL Server, and this is what is the instance here, right? So this is the only instance we created for SQL Server. So in which SQL Server is your member database, or you want to create your member now as a copy in this SQL Server? So if I go for test member, free trial, and this is my SQL instance, and in that instance I have created your first name DB02, or there's a master database, right? So, and sync directories, this means that this is the database I created already, and the other one that I already have as a hub, and this is a member. And bidirectional sync, or to the hub from the hub. So from the hub to this member, suppose from DB01 is my hub, or the first one, or the active one, to the DB02. Suppose I want to go that way, it can go actually both ways. So the username, password for that, which is a member, I'm just gonna put that as well. Three. So now this is within the same instance. Suppose you create another instance in West US, right? So you could have given that instance instead, right? But I just created one instance in East US and that's it. So suppose I created an instance in East Europe, so it would have been that, right? So whatever instance, it's just asking instance and the target database. So wherever we create the instance, it's just gonna take us, it's gonna do the synchronization to that. And add an Azure database, member database. I think it's already, I have defined that. Sync member, yes, I've already defined that. So I just need to press OK now. It's not an on-premise database, but you can see that it can even add on-premises database. So that's really cool. I press OK here, then it creates sync member as well. Configure sync group, then. So first it asks for the hub or the first, and then it asks for the second one, where it is, in which instance it is, and how much synchronizations frequency should be there. So then comes the configuration. Tables without primary key are not supported. So first of all, select a database to sync. We already actually did that. So but here, hub database. I'll say that, okay, in hub database, try to sync that and refresh loading tables now. When I refresh the schema, our hub database, remember, it had sample AdventureWorks sample database. So that's supposed to load all the tables of the sample AdventureWorks, and that's why it's taking time. So lots of database features there that are available for high availability and scalability of the databases. And one day, Monday or Sunday, it's going to load tables there. That's not a lot of tables, but I think maybe 14, 15 tables there. But some of the tables have huge data there. So wow, okay. Well, overall we do get the idea, but it's just saying that which tables to sync and which tables not to sync. So suppose you remember that I right-clicked on a customer table. So suppose I just want the customer table to be synchronized from DB01 to DB02, but I don't want any other tables to be synchronized. So that's what the option is. This option is about. Okay, so now it's no longer fast in GTA, I guess. Was supposed to be fast. So if I go for no, well, overall, hopefully we got the idea. But this is just DB01, DB02. Within this SQL instance, we are creating a synchronization. And there's no refresh button here. No. Okay, so hopefully we get the idea that since we went through the whole process, so this is what it is, that you actually want to synchronize all the tables or just a few tables. So at least the flexibility is there. Wow, it's in shock. If I click that one, no, your unsaved edits will be discarded. Uh-oh. Too late for that. Okay. Ouch. Okay, so it's gonna load again and refresh schema, and it's gonna start that process again, I guess. So guys, yeah, these are all the features of databases. So on Friday, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for that lab, and then the rest of the topics. So this Friday could be our last class on Azure, and we can start this next Tuesday as Google Cloud. And Google Cloud and Oracle Cloud, we're gonna go for major features there. And so, and you know, in winter, I could, you know, there's another George Brown class that might be starting. So there's something that, so then we might switch to one day as well, Friday based class. And we might make it long class as well, maybe 6 hour 8 hours, or maybe also 18 hours class. Just kidding. Okay. Anyway, so what we can do is we can just try to delete this and meet on Friday. So we can go for Tuesday, Wednesday. No, my Wednesday class will be, I think, but that's after 1.5 months, right? So by that time, hopefully, I guess we will be on Oracle Cloud or at the end of the Google Cloud. So now I did go much more in depth with Azure and AWS, but Google Cloud and Oracle Cloud, we will be only covering major features of virtual machines, which, and major features also have obviously a lot of labs there, but we're not gonna go that much in depth with Google Cloud and Oracle Cloud. But it's going to be enough for you to even easily pass the exam. Not easily, but pass the exam. Okay, so it's going to be like Wednesday might be gone 1.5 month, after 1.5 month, in January or winter at the end of December. So then it will be Friday based, but it's far away right now. It's not here. For Azure is preparation day for Azure. So prep day for Azure. We can dedicate one class for that. I actually, this is a 4 course 4 course meal. No, 4 courses here. So that's we can dedicate. Okay, we can dedicate what this Tuesday for exam prep, and then we can start next Wednesday. Next Tuesday we can do a Azure prep day, but then Wednesday we need to start Google Cloud because I offered 4 courses, so that's a lot of already material there. Okay, other questions there? Preparation day for Azure, yeah. So next Tuesday we can dedicate one class for Azure questions, and then Friday we can start Google Cloud. Chintan says 5 to 6 p.m. for 2 days. 5 to 6 p.m. One hour only. 1 hour we breathe only. We're just starting to yawn and get up in 1 hour. So how can we do a full lab in 1 hour? So okay, 1 hour for the preparation you're saying. Okay, yeah, that is also good. That is also good. We can go for next Tuesday, 5 to 6, and then Friday 5 to 6 as well. Right? On Friday we can also do the full on-prem AD migration to Azure AD. On Friday we can also do the full on-prem AD migration to Azure AD.
This is when we said just for next class because it's important.
Because
And just Amir, for next class, can I use VirtualBox instead of VMware?
Yeah, you can use VirtualBox. It's just that then you have to troubleshoot on your side if something happens, right? But yes, you can use VirtualBox. It has to be connected to the internet. That's all we need.
Perfect. And you need Hyper-V as well.
Yes, Hyper-V is a must. Yep.
Perfect.
Cool.
Perfect. Thank you.
So yeah, Milap, definitely. That's you have domain controller. Now I realize that what you're saying. So that's a domain controller you have, and actually I also have a domain controller. Seriously. So yes, we're gonna exactly do that. What you're saying. So exam, can we start from 6 as
Next class, we need domain?
well, the only machine we have in a Hyper-V, it's a domain controller. So it can be a member server, it's okay. It doesn't have to be a domain controller. Those who have domain controller, it will be a copy of domain controller there. But those who have member server. So guys, wait. We can't copy our domain controller like this, right? Active passive feature is not made for domain controllers. It's made for uh, it's a virtual machine inside that we're going to be. So let me just explain that real quick. It will be a very small one. Uh, we're not, we have a domain controller here, DC, and then this is done OS. Inside the OS, we have Hyper-V, right? Inside the Hyper-V, we have an empty machine here. We have a VM that has no operating system. It's about this machine that we are about to create. So if you want to install something inside that machine, go ahead and install that, but do not install an Active Directory inside. We cannot make a domain controller active passive. Active passive is not made for domain controllers. Normally, Active Directory has an additional DC, right? A replica DC of its own. So its own domain controller Active Directory has its own high availability system, which does not rely on this failover. Other systems. If you have installed DC before and a replica DC before, we don't install failover clustering there, right? Or we don't use any failover. So you can just have a DC and replica, they just replicate right away. If this goes down, this just keeps the show running, right? So failover clustering is not the way to get the domain controller up like this, right? So that's not the way to do it. So if you have this one virtual machine inside Hyper-V that is empty right now, if you want to install an operating system inside, go ahead. You can have a file server inside, you can have a print server, web server, but not a domain controller. Domain controller, it's not recommended. Why? Because the SID, will security identifier related issues, and then there are some more schema or sensitive information there. You cannot have a root DC copied as a passive here as well. So it's not going to work. Basically, it's not, Microsoft does not technically support that at all, and it's going to actually cause more errors. So this machine must not be a domain controller. It should be a member server with some application on top of it, right? Okay, so this is a virtual machine, but that's not a domain controller, and we should not put a domain controller in this scenario what we're doing. Okay, about full on-prem. So Chitan says, I think Milab is asking about full on-prem AD migrate to Azure AD, full AD migration. Only AD migration, not VM. AD migration, so I have to check it out. Hopefully we can do that. But with AADC, so Milab, you have to explain a little more that what AADC cannot do. We all did the AADC, right? So what else you want migrated there? So but we can just since you put that, so I'll try to come up with a lab for that, but you can put some specific scenarios there as well. Otherwise, AADC, Microsoft normally recommends that if you have on-premises AADC there, that's good enough and it replicates. Yeah, but if you're replicating groups and OUs, then this is a separate thing. So I'll check it out, that what's the best way to do that. Okay, so that's another homework for me. So we'll check it out. Sure, I get the idea what you're talking about. So permanently to Azure ready. Okay, migrate one way, like it's not synchronization. Okay, so I'll check it out. And what else? Okay, other than that, it's only okay. That's the whole thing we're talking about. And there's a private message that I should not read aloud. Okay, so yeah, guys, let's. So this is 10 o'clock, and see you on Friday. Yay! Oh, let's delete everything. Delete. Right? Welcome. Thank you. So guys, yeah, we're adding more labs, but that's being taken out from the time we're gonna spend on the other course as well, right? There are labs there as well, and I have to finish all 4 courses one day, right? So that's why we are adding labs here. And I totally agree. This course is the most important one. And the AWS, Google Cloud and Oracle Cloud that's why there will be lesser labs there. Anyway, okay, so I'll just delete everything and let's start. Alright, good night, bye-bye. Yeah.
Hi, Amir.
Hey,
I
Amir with some more requirements and yes, sir.
Okay. I have a question. If I have a two sites and one site has a file server, domain controller, and a local application. If I want to add site A and the site B, I want to same VMs, same whatever I have in the site A, I will have a site B, and I have a VPN site to site. Which solution is the best solution, VMware or Hyper-V?
Well, VMware will be the better. We have VMware site recovery solution that exactly does what you want.
So can I create a cluster for all VMs between site A and site B as a one cluster in the VMware?
Well, it would not be one cluster. If
Mhm.
in site recovery, you have to go for, if I say that and you do that, so I have to check with my documentation as well for that. So let me check that documentation and just remind me on WhatsApp and I'll send you that.
And what's if I have another option? If I say, okay, I'm gonna use the Azure for the file server and Active Directory. So can I use the Azure as a other place to two sites sync it to the Azure?
Yeah, that's our lab for Friday. So yes, we can do
Okay.
that.
Okay, perfect. Sure. Amir, sorry, last question before you go.
Sure.
The version on Hyper-V, yeah, it should be server or be Windows.
It should be what?
Class. It can be
Oh,
or it
you're
can be
cutting
server.
actually. I can't understand.
The version machine on the Hyper-V. Yeah, it should be Windows server or it can be Windows 10 for next class.
Well, yeah, it could be Windows 10, any Windows actually. Normally in production environment, you would want to go for a server to be created as a, and clients will not be going through that in production environment. But if you want to put Windows 10, it's okay. Better put a server.
Okay. You have a good night. You have a good night.
Right, bye-bye.
Amir, after 2 weeks, you said that this course will be finished, right? GCP and Oracle, right?
After 2 weeks?
Yes. Next 2 weeks. Next 2 weeks.
2 weeks. This week it will be just the Azure will finish. Then Google Cloud will start next week.
Okay.
Or we can start Google Cloud Tuesday or Friday. Yeah.
So for the VMware, I have to take a course first and go to the certificate. There is no choice. You would directly go to certificate,
Yes,
right?
we have to take a course from authorized college.
Okay. You still next what's it? Net Plus, right?
I'm teaching VMware at NetPlus.
Okay.
It's an authorized college.